Hello, hello. I'm turning the volume down because it's kind of loud. Welcome. I've got this spooky music playing so that it'll be more spooky. Today we are going to be reading articles off of the SCP wiki. So this is probably going to be a bit of a shorter stream. It's also going to be just a chill stream. We're just going to go through, look at different articles, go, oh wow, that was really creepy, or huh, that was weird. Can't really think of anything. It looks like the bitrate is really low, which hopefully that will go away once I take this screen down. I guess I'll go ahead and walk through, actually give a walkthrough of what we're gonna be doing today. So, okay, so if I can speak, it is October. It's the month of spookiness, and whenever I think of spooky stuff that used to freak me out as a kid, my go-to is the SCP wiki. There's a lot of creepy stuff there. I love SCP, and recently I've been getting back into it, going through the wiki, looking at all the stuff. So what I'm going to do, we are going to start with 173, since that's, the SCP, and then the site has a feature where you can click random and it'll just pull up a completely random SCP article for you to read. And we're just gonna go through that, read all the different wikis and stuff. Full disclosure, I'm probably not gonna be doing the SCP narrator reading voice. This is Dr. Malthus Orifice. And today we're going to be... I'm not going to be doing that. I might fall into that if I start getting into it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to try and do that, you know? This also probably isn't going to be a very long one. I usually go for about 3 hours. I might just go for 1 or 2, because there's going to be a lot of talking, obviously. If you have any suggestions, if there's an SCP that you would like me to read out on stream, by all means, go ahead. I'll check it out. But other than that, I think that's everything out of the way. Let's go ahead and get this up. I'm excited. This song in particular, I'm pretty sure this straight up was used in Containment Breach or something. There's no way it wasn't. Alright, can everybody see me? Can everybody see me? Oh, I just realized I should probably... Hold on. I didn't test this out. But... Hold on. What if I... open up a new tab here... I made it really small and put it off to the side. Nah. Alright, give me a second. I just realized the flaw in this. The flaw being that if I've got, the wiki up, then I can't see the chat or anything. So I'm gonna go grab my phone real quick so I can keep an eye on the chat and who else in the chat. So enjoy the spooky music. Enjoy the spooky music. Alright, I'm back. Alright, so the lights are off. I'm all wrapped up and cozy in my little blanket. I've got a glass of water in case my voice gives out. And I've got my phone up so I can see the chat. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start the night off with the one that started it all. SCP-173. Item number, SCP-173. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Item SCP-173 is to be kept in a locked container at all times. When personnel must enter SCP-173's container, no fewer than 3 may enter at any time, and the door is to be relocked behind them. At all times, 2 persons— that is loud. If the music is ever, like, way too loud at any point, like, let me know, and I will turn it down. I just yanked my earbud out of my head. Anyway, at all times, 2 persons must maintain direct eye contact with SCP-173 until all personnel have vacated and relocked the container. Description: moved to Site 19, 1993. Origin is as of yet unknown. It is constructed from concrete and rebar with traces of Krylon brand spray paint. SCP-173 is animate and extremely hostile. The object cannot move while within a direct line of sight. Line of sight must not be broken at any time with SCP-173. Personnel assigned to enter container are instructed to alert one another before blinking. Object is reported to attack by snapping the neck at the base of the skull or by strangulation. In the event of an attack, personnel are to observe Class 4 hazardous object containment procedures. Personnel report sounds of scraping stone originating from within the container when no one is present inside. This is considered normal, and any change in this behavior should be reported to the active HMCL supervisor on duty. The reddish-brown substance on the floor is a combination of feces and blood. Origin of these materials is unknown. The enclosure must be cleaned on a bi-weekly basis. So yeah, this is the one that started it all. So afterwards, I'll give my thoughts, and I'll also try to credit whoever the author of the article is. So SCP-173 is interesting, because this was the very first one. Seriously, is the music too loud? Because this is, like, really freaking loud. Like, I'm having to turn it down on my end. Jeez. Anyway, so yeah, as I was saying, this is the first SCP that was ever written. So, like, we actually don't know who wrote it, because it was posted on 4chan originally on one of their supernatural boards. So basically they were trying to pass it off as if it was real. Obviously nobody believed it, but they were so, like, enraptured by the idea that they decided to, like, write more of them. And then they wrote more and more and more, and it turned into this whole thing. This whole big collective, like, internet group writing project, essentially. Yeah, unfortunately the original picture is not here anymore. The sculpture that was used for the image, there's complicated legality issues. Basically, like, the owner of the sculpture doesn't want it being used for, like, monetization purposes, which is fair. But that means, because SCP is in Creative Commons, which means anybody can use it for, like, any reason, if they want to use SCP-173, they can't use the, the design. So they've taken the picture down to avoid any complications, because somebody who doesn't know about all this stuff will, like, get on the wiki, like, be like, oh, I can just, like, use this look for 173, and, then they get in trouble. It's... Honestly, I did not remember this SCP article being so short. Like, it makes sense. This is just a little 4chan post here. There's nothing really, like... They haven't established everything yet, you know? Like, everything here is just, like, kind of made-up phrases to imply something bigger here. Honestly, it's a pretty standard, like, yeah, statue, doesn't move when you're looking at it, moves when you're not, tries to kill you. Doctor Who, Weeping Angels, we've all seen it before. Honestly, reading this without the picture kind of makes me realize how much heavy lifting that the actual sculpture was doing, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like the picture itself, you know, had a lot going for it in terms of creepiness and uncanniness. And there's been like a lot of there have been a lot of attempts to like redesign it so that we can have a new SCP-173. And like, I am not an artist or a sculptor, and like, I don't really have a whole lot of experience with horror. But my personal 2 cents, and if you are listening to this and you want to design an SCP-173, my personal take is what made the original sculpture so uncanny and work so well was the fact that this thing didn't look like it could, stand up on its own without being propped up against something, much less strangle you. It's got, like, if you've never seen it, it's got this big peanut head, a super long torso, and these tiny little arms and legs that, like... And even the picture, it looks like it's leaning against a wall. So, the fact that this thing can move around and stay upright and balanced, and apparently, like, snap your neck, it's like, how is it doing any of that? Like, none of these proportions look like it should be able to do any of that stuff. You know, never mind the fact that it's a statue. And I see too many versions of 173 where they give it, like, really long arms to make it... They give it really long arms, or they'll give it a really wide base, or, like, I've seen a lot of tripod designs, I've seen a lot of bottom-heavy designs, and the problem with that is that I look at that and I'm like, okay, yeah, if that thing could move, it could definitely strangle me. Yeah, no, obviously. What made 173 so scary is that you didn't know how this thing was doing any of that. And you couldn't know because it stops moving when you look at it, you know? So, like, that little element of the unknown that makes you think, like, how does that work? How does it do that? I think that is kind of essential to what makes a good SCP, is making you think, making you wonder. Oh, hello, Pumpkin Mal! We are doing SCP readings. I just did 173. We have just started. The government is after me. I mean, honestly, I'm leaking classified, you know, SCP documents, so, like, really, everybody who watches the stream also has to watch out. They're gonna send, like, the Foundation, like, amnestics team to wipe your memories. But anyway, I think I have shared, everything that I have to say about 173, honestly. It's a pretty good SCP, and it definitely worked in terms of setting up everything that would come later. But I honestly do think much scarier and more creative stuff has come out since. So, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to go over here and hit random. We're going to hit random SCP, and let's see what we get. SCP Foundation, item number SCP-6955, level 2 restricted. This is straight up music that was used in SCP Containment. Hold on. Oh my god, this is the music that plays when, like, 106 chases you. I'm glad that I have it turned down, because, like, this would have sent me into a panic. Oh my god. Okay. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's see. 6955, level 2 restricted. Containment class Euclid. Secondary class Florgalana. Disruption class Kennick. Risk class Caution. Assigned Site 400. Site Director Director Adam Desmond. Research Head not available. Assigned Task Force not available. Special containment procedures. There's a little addendum here. What does that say? Footnote 1, Florgalana. The anomaly is ethically or logistically difficult to contain, yet partially aids with the containment of other anomalies and or themselves. Interesting. With approval from Site 400's current site director, Dr. Lantierne has been granted permission to continue his long-term employment with the Foundation. However, he is to wear a specialized tracking device at all times, even during sleep and personal washroom hours. Despite other anomalous personnel being allowed to do so, Dr. Lantierne is prohibited from ever leaving Site 400. Whenever he is displaced, Site 400 is to immediately enter lockdown, with on-site security remaining on high alert for any irregularities involving contained anomalies and their respective containment protocols. If no incident occurs for 24 hours, or if the threat has already been successfully neutralized, a retrieval team is to be dispatched in order to recover Dr. Lantierne. Alright, real quick. This is kind of what I like about the SCP Wiki and how it's, like, organized, because you read all of this, and, like, your first impression is like, okay, this is, like, a bunch of gibberish. What does any of this mean? But also, like, you get implied stuff, like, whenever he is displaced, right here. Whenever he is displaced. So that kind of gives you a hint as to, like, what this guy's anomalous properties might be. Another interesting thing is that they refer to him as Dr. Lantierne instead of SCP-6955 in the document, which automatically tells us this is a guy that probably obtained anomalous properties. Regardless, little side tangent, I like how the special containment procedures do a good job of, like, setting up the expectations of what to expect from the SCP. And how, like, once you actually read the description and its anomalous properties, you can go back and you can be like, oh, so that's why. Alright, description. SCP-6955 is the designation given to an anomaly directly affecting senior researcher Latlas Lantierne, an adult Middle Eastern male of French-Iranian descent, currently appointed as a data analyst for Site 400's Department of Theological and Teleological Studies. SCP-6955 is described by research personnel as an innate precognitive translocation hazard response. Interesting. Hold on. Innate precognitive translocation hazard response. Oh, so basically, I guess what it's saying is that if he's about to be in danger, he'll just, like, teleport somewhere else. Essentially, SCP-6955 is capable of becoming aware of, or more simply put, sensing, any particular object, entity, or event that would put Dr. Lantierne's life at risk, far before said object, entity, or event could even be posed as a direct threat to Dr. Lantierne. Prolonged observation has shown that the span in which SCP-6955 foresees the threat depends on the level of danger it poses to Dr. Lantierne. Due to, and in response to this, SCP-6955 will utilize its secondary property, that being, it would physically displace or teleport Dr. Lantierne to a location that is far enough for him to avoid being affected and or killed by the threat. As expected, the locations of SCP-6955 chooses to displace Dr. Lantierne to varies from time to time and follow no specific pattern. Interesting. So SCP-6955 is not the person, it's referring to specifically the phenomena of him teleporting. That's weird. Addendum 6955-1. List of displacement events. December 29th, 2016. While stations at Reliquary Area 27, Dr. Lantierne was researching a recovered ancient relic, artifact Kidir Soteria. When he accidentally made direct skin contact with it, the relic then glowed a bright yellow and green hue, and at this point Dr. Lantierne was displaced at the center of Site 400's multi-purpose cafeteria. So this is how he, became anomalous. 5 minutes following Dr. Lantern's displacement, a semi-deific entity that identified itself as Axiopio spontaneously manifested within Area 27 and began making its way towards the relic, killing all individuals that crossed its path. Fortunately, it was able to be purged by operatives of MTF Kairos 1. A task force of anomalously enhanced individuals specializing in deicide. Oh, dang. So they just have like a JRPG party on hand. Sweet. Alright, July 9th, 2019. Whilst conducting an archival evaluation on some documents stored within Site-400's demonic research lab, Dr. Lantern was suddenly displaced in the vicinity of Masjid al-Haram, located in the Mecca province of Saudi Arabia. The mosque was performing Zuhr prayer at the time. Around 2 hours after Dr. Lantern's displacement, an explosive planted by a Chaos Insurgency mole was detonated within the demonic research lab, resulting in the release of several hostile Tartarian entities. Before the entities could fully envelop the research lab, they were able to be recontained and purified with the activation of the on-site AESR. Let's see. Akiva Emissive Sacramental Reactor. I have no idea what any of those words mean. Let's see. July 13th, 2019. So this was like only a few days afterwards. After finally returning to Site-400 following a long flight from Saudi Arabia, Dr. Lantern went back to his personal quarters to get some sleep. However, right after laying on his bed, he was displaced to an unoccupied containment chamber in Armed Biological Area 14. It was around 3 a.m. when this occurred. God dang, can you imagine? You get teleported to, like, you know, the middle of the desert, a completely foreign country. I guess not the middle of the desert, but, you know, like, just completely foreign country in the middle of a big crowded area. And then, like, you finally get home, you finally get back, you lie down in bed, and then, beep! You're gone, again. Like, at least you weren't, you know, located, like, all the way, like, in another country across the planet this time. Having prior knowledge regarding the nature of SCP-6955, Area 14's administration decided to dispatch 3 squads of MTF-NU-7 to aid in eliminating any threat that Site-400 might face. When they arrived, it was discovered that operatives of the Chaos Insurgency had raided the site and had taken several individuals hostage. However, the raid was very short-lived, as the insurgents were quickly terminated with the combined forces of NU-7 and on-site security. April 9th, No, that's not April 9th. That's, stupid European date way of going at September 4th, 2019. See Addendum 6955-2. Project Panopticon. I guess that's just, you know, big ol' security footage. Addendum 6952, Incident Log. While providing subsequent medical attention to individuals who survived SCP Redacted's containment outbreak. Let's see here. This particular incident occurred on September 2nd, 2019, when faulty wiring resulted in the release of SCP Blank. Dr. Lantern was absent during this due to him and other anomalous personnel attending an educational seminar held at Site-17. Dr. Lantern was suddenly displaced. As per protocol, Site-400 entered emergency lockdown, and the tracking device worn by Dr. Lantern was activated in order to determine where he is located. However, the tracking device isn't able to be detected. With express permission from Overseer 02, Foundation's global surveillance network, known formally as Project Panopticon, was allowed to be activated for the sake of locating Dr. Lantern. Unfortunately, despite even accessing various illicit monitoring systems, Project Panopticon was still unable to pinpoint Dr. Lantern's exact location. Due to this unforeseen development, SCP-6955 has been redesignated as uncontained/missing. Interesting. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I was kind of, not really digging this one at first. I felt like there was, like, it felt a little too overcomplicated for me. especially given that it's like a very simple concept here, you know? Like, he just teleports away whenever, like, something dangerous is about to happen. But this, I think this really brought it together. Like, my criticisms from earlier still stand, but, like, having it end with him just, like, teleport somewhere and nobody knows where he is, and nobody can track him down, implying he might straight up just be in another dimension or reality or something, I like that. That's interesting. It's a little eerie. Anyway, I noticed up here, by Indie Heckfire and Bluest Bunny. Very good job, Indie Heckfire and Bluest Bunny. I liked that. Alright, so... let me move this out of the way. Random. Let's re-roll here. What do we got here? SCP-3935. Level 3 Confidential. This one doesn't show at the top. Might have to do a little bit of searching. Let's see. Item number 3935. Containment class Euclid. Disruption class Kaneki. Risk class Caution. Wait, I just thought of something. Hold on. Alright. Real quick here, real quick. So, this containment class was Euclid, right? So, if you don't know anything about SCP, the containment class isn't based on how dangerous the entity is, it's based on how hard the entity is to contain. So the big example that they give, right, is imagine if there was a button that when pressed would destroy, like, the universe, right? All it would take to destroy the universe is just pressing this button. You would think, oh, Keter class. I don't know how it's pronounced. I kind of go back and forth. You think Keter class, right? It's super big and dangerous and scary. However, like, it's just a button. All you gotta do to make sure nobody presses it is just lock it in a room. Just lock it in a room, throw away the key, make sure nobody can ever get near it. Boom. Successfully contained. That's why it's like containment class Euclid instead of like risk class or disruption class or a secondary class or whatever. I would argue that this guy should probably be like a Keter class. I also would like to argue that Dr. Lantern should be the SCP, because there are plenty of like SCPs that it would be like if you designated 096's ability to like track down anybody who sees it as the SCP instead of like 096 itself, the shy guy. Like, I feel like that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, Iris Thompson, for example, is another, like, SCP that is, like, a person who works at the Foundation. And, like, she is designated by an SCP number. Like, she is still referred to as Iris Thompson, but usually, like, in formal documents, she is referred to as, like, SCP, I don't remember her number, it's, like, 051 or something. So, yeah, why is man who teleported into another plane of reality the same containment class as what I am assuming is a spooky high school? Anyway, just a little critique that popped into my head here. Let's get back into this. 3935, containment class Euclid. Special containment procedures. The town of Salvation, Indiana has been evacuated, and a fenced 2-kilometer quarantine zone has been established around the center of the town. Roads leading to the nearby town of Eminence have been removed and rerouted. Foundation personnel are to monitor all known travel routes into Salvation for signs of civilians. Any civilians caught attempting to enter Salvation are to be remanded to the custody of local authorities. Cover story 3935.18. Hazardous waste disaster is currently being disseminated. Give me a second, I'm going to take a sip of water. Water. building containing SCP-3935 Salvation High School is to be guarded by Foundation security personnel. Under no circumstances are any authorized personnel to enter SCP-3935. Individuals believed to be affected in any way by SCP-3935 are to be moved to temporary Site 81-5 near Eminence for evaluation. It is currently believed that original inhabitants of Salvation are unable to reproduce. Deviation from this expectation is to be closely monitored. Exploration into SCP-3935 is currently forbidden due to the hazardous conditions within SCP-3935. Any future exploration attempts are restricted to D-Class personnel only. Interesting. I'm very interested in what's going on here. That's a whole, like, you know, rerouting, erasing a town from history, essentially. SCP-3935 is an extratemporal, extraspatial, non-Euclidean space located beneath the Salvation High School in Salvation, Indiana. While SCP-3935 is the designation for the specific anomaly mentioned above, it is believed that the anomaly currently affects the entire town of Salvation, as individuals have reported anomalous events taking place outside of SCP-3935 as well. The full extent of these events is not known. SCP-3935 is reachable only through a collapsed section of sub-basement beneath the Salvation High School. Near the northwest corner of the building below the school's pool. It is believed that SCP-3935 was the source of anomalous activity that took place in Salvation High School in the mid-1970s, which was investigated and contained by members of the Federal Bureau of Investigation Unusual Incidents Unit. Information pertaining to the investigation is available elsewhere in this file. The access point to SCP-3935 proper exists roughly 25 meters below the collapsed section of the basement, in a small antechamber containing a stone arch. The original creator of the arch, or how it became buried so far underground in the first place, are the subjects of investigation. Inscribed on the arch is a phrase in English not believed to exist anywhere in literature. The way below winds deeper, longer, unspeakable its patterns laid, the lost forever damned to wander, this thing a quiet madness made. Interesting. Addendum 3935.1 Discovery. SCP-3935 was originally discovered following a series of paranormal events that took place within the Salvation High School during the week of June 18, 1976. See Addendum 3935.2. Sometime after the end of the primary anomalous activity period at the school, the collapsed section of wall and floor leading to a narrow gap in the foundation was discovered by a member of the custodial staff. The collapsed wall, which is located in an unspecified basement room below the primary basement, deteriorated even further until the gap in the foundation was large enough that a person could fit into. During an audit of the damage by a contractor, a member of the independent team accidentally slipped and fell into the antechamber near SCP-3935. Without a way to easily extract the individual, their supervisor encouraged them to proceed into SCP-3935 a short distance and see if there was a way out. When the individual did not return from SCP-3935, a search was conducted by members of the contractor team and local authorities. When only 2 of the 11 individuals who entered SCP-3935 returned to the antechamber, and when they began to give accounts of their experiences within, Foundation personnel embedded in local authorities took over the investigation. Over time, anomalous activity began to become more common outside of the high school in Salvation. After the events that took place in June 1976, the town was officially condemned and the entire populace was relocated. Let's see, no more than 1,400 people. Oh, there were a lot of addendums. Let's see, how long are these? Oh, this is a long one. But I'm, like, interested. This is... Ooh. Alright, let's go back up to the top here. Alright, Addendum 3935.2, UIU Field Report. Note, the following is a summary of the field report by UIU field agents Lonnie Carter, Patrick Wilson, and Ella Hughes. Top secrets. Oh, this is the the original anomalous event that the FBI investigated. I'm gonna take a sip of water again. Water. Federal Bureau of Investigation Unusual Incidents Unit. The following is a comprehensive report detailing paranormal activity that took place in the town of Salvation, Indiana, between June 18th and June 23rd, 1976. Agents Carter, Wilson, and Hughes dispatched to the site of reported activity. Substantial paranormal activity encountered, additional resources requested, and employed in cover-up of paranormal activity. No reported involvement by SCP Foundation or its agents. No reported involvement by Global Occult Coalition or its agents. No reported involvement by other notable entities or their agents. Image attached to UIU file. Context unknown. Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. That appears to be a picture of a cheerleading squad, and all of their faces are missing. Which is interesting, because you can still kind of, like, see through them. And, like, their hair is still there. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. After ascertaining? Is that how you pronounce that? The scope of the report paranormal activity, dispatched agents applied doses of chemical 110. An early model UIU amnestic similar to the discontinued Foundation class silver amnestics, now replaced by the 909 class B amnestics, notable for its toxicity and tendency to cause severe damage to hearing memory sensors. Interesting. The entire population of Salvation. All inhabitants accounted for and moved to processing center Indianapolis for further analysis. Quarantine established around Salvation. After extensive interviews of the population of Salvation, the following timeline of paranormal activity has been constructed from these eyewitness accounts. Sunday night. 10th grade students Diane Beasley and Cassandra Thompson report hearing what they described as someone trying to speak under the ground and passing by the high school on their way home from a Sunday night church service. Miss Thompson reports this to her mother, who ignores it. Monday. During gym class, 11th grade student Oliver Baker claims that he can hear voices coming from underneath the pool. Several other students corroborate this story. When school officials come to investigate, they do not discern anything unusual. Notably, the lining at the bottom of the pool appears cracked. Several female students report seeing faceless things instead of their own reflections in the mirror of a second-story bathroom during a passing period. I almost read that as pissing period. They do not seem bothered by this. During lunch announcements, many students describe being able to hear a third voice speaking unintelligibly below the broadcast. The PA room sits in a media center near the pool, less than 40 meters from the entrance of the sub-basement room and a collapsed wall. Let's see, what is this? Alongside the two announcing students, okay. Tuesday. Students arriving to the school notice that the Indiana state flag is more than 3 meters above the top of the flagpole attached to nothing. The American flag is not found. When observed, students claim that they can also see 9 female figures hanging by ropes from the flagpole, which disappear immediately after being seen. During a freshman biology class, one student suddenly stands, is seen rolling their eyes back in their head, and descending suddenly into the floor and out of sight. They reappear shortly later above a ceiling panel in the corner of the room. Despite being unable to identify the student, several of his classmates insist it was just a joke. This student is not accounted for in the attached Salvation population dossier. Interesting. Several students described seeing a student they did not recognize at the school on Tuesday. When pushed to give details of the student's appearance, none are able to do so. Apparently, the only defining characteristic of the student was a purple satchel with the word syncope written on the side in white embroidery. A custodian reports seeing something standing at the bottom of the pool staring at him. Wednesday. Upon arriving at the school, maintenance staff and the custodians note that there is a full 2 inches of water across all levels of the school. Inexplicably, the school's principal, Dr. Irvin White, decides to not close the school. Honestly, that's the most believable thing in here. Like, they're dealing with all that, and the principal is just like, yeah, nope, still gotta go to school. Paranormal eldritch events are not a big enough deal to close down the school. At 7:56 a.m., the entire school hears someone whisper the word hello right... Oh, hold on, excuse me. At 7:56 a.m., the entire school hears someone whisper the word hello right in their ear. That would freak me out. I would just walk out. Members of the school band realize that their instruments no longer produce any sound. However, when played, the students report seeing a small black human-shaped thing flickering in and out of view in the corner of the room facing the wall. One student, Ava Leadway, witnesses a dark figure walking up and away from the school through the air at an impossible angle. Eventually, the figure disappears from sight and is never seen again. No other students address this. Thursday. During a gym class, senior Nate Bennett avoids a dodgeball when it phases through him. As he begins to sink into the floor, he screams for help. Nobody who noticed seemed motivated enough to help him. The entire school shifts up roughly a foot off its foundations at 11:23 a.m. The vice principal sent to inspect it describes something small with too many faces grinning at him from underneath the building before the school slowly resettles. The boys' locker rooms disappear and are replaced by something that screamed. Witnesses are unable to provide any further details. As the students leave the school for the day, they see 9 young women hanging in the air, tilted forward at a 45-degree angle roughly 25 meters above the school's parking lot. They can be seen silently mouthing words. All witnesses described their appearances as ugly and unremarkable. They vanish at approximately 3 p.m. The majority of all residents describe hearing a child's voice say the word hello below them at this time. A panic ensues as town officials have no response for the women in the sky. The principal decides to close the school on Friday. The entire student body shows up for school on Friday, being unable to get into the school due to the doors being locked. They assemble outside the front door and wait. No individuals in this group could describe why they were there. There is a knock on a window. The entire student body sees a small black humanoid form standing outside of a second-story classroom. The figure begins to phase in and out of the window. The figure disappears and then begins to phase in and out of other windows. Witnesses describe its movements as jerky, erratic, and spasmodic. The figure disappears and the front door unlocks itself. The student body enters the school. The interior of the school has become non-Euclidean. As the students approach the back of the space, they realize they are moving down, not into. All students now hear whispers and see, and some at the edge of the group hear drums in the distance. In the distance, they see the archway leading to SCP-3935. Suddenly, the entire mass of students shifts 50 meters outside of the space and are suddenly encased in rock and earth. The students spend roughly 20 seconds trapped in this area before reappearing back in the school. All students report being the only one in the building and, after wandering through the hallways for a short time, coming across a doorway below a doorway and entering the small sub-basement room. Inside, the students report seeing 3 separate visions. A woman crouched over a body of water, blood surrounding her feet and her arms extended into the water up to her elbows. A farmhouse in the middle of a grove of trees that is burning while 9 humanoid figures hang in the air overhead. And a weeping woman digging in a field until her hands begin to rot and fall apart. Once the visions subside, a small black humanoid appears. Students hear the entity say the word hello again, and are immediately surrounded by 9 screaming female figures, and then are suddenly in their own homes. As additional agents begin to enter the town to apply amnestics to the subjects, additional anomalous activity is reported around the town. Several individuals report seeing bodies hanging in the sky. Several individuals report turning on their taps and human hair and mucus flowing out instead of water. Several individuals report feeling as if their facial features had suddenly disappeared entirely, while several other reported seeing faceless creatures in the town. A completely still black humanoid entity is seen frantically appearing and reappearing in rapid succession up and down the main thoroughfare in the town. One unidentified woman reports witnessing a weeping woman running back into the school building. After following her into the now unlocked sub-basement, she is unable to find the young woman, but is the first to report the collapsed floor. Aftermath summary. Over the next few days, UIU amnestics regimens begin to take effect. Most townspeople are readily convinced that the things they saw were hallucinations as a result of toxic gases blown south from a factory to the north. At the end of the next week, contractors assessing the damage to the school discover the sub-basement room, as well as the entrance to SCP-3935. Foundation involvement begins shortly thereafter. Jeez! Oh my god. That started off as like, oh yeah, there's some like weird stuff going on, and then like by the end it was like, no, I would have like not even packed up my stuff. I would have grabbed like my laptop and maybe a few other things, and I would have just driven out of town. Like, holy crap. And we're not even done. There's still more addendums here. Addendum 3935.3, Initial Exploration and Recovery Log. Note, the following log is a transcription of audio and video recordings gathered from the initial Foundation search and rescue attempt into SCP-3935. Right before I start this, another sip of water. Water. Oh, only known image of black humanoid entity circled in red. There he is. I take it this is the pool that collapsed. Interesting. You know, I'm glad we got a creepy one so early on. Begin log. Alright, mic's hot. Let's go. Agents Ellis, Porter, and Haskell enter SCP-3935. Each is equipped with a shoulder-mounted torch, which illuminates upon entering the space beyond the archway. Alright, so first things first. There's definitely something happening back here. Pauses. The walls are getting pretty tight. Stay close. Team proceeds forward. Can you feel that? What? The air feels funny. Yeah, in the walls, look. Shoulder-mounted torch illuminates the wall next to Agent Haskell. Images are carved into the rock, similar to a child's drawings. Come on, I think I can feel a breeze. Might be an opening up here. Team continues to push through the rock tunnel. Jesus, I can barely move. The walls are too close. Ellis, Agent Porter's camera suddenly goes black. A moment later, it appears to be looking up at two sources of light, likely Ellis and Haskell's torches, as Agent Porter falls. Porter, intermittent screaming. What just happened? Porter? Porter? Where? I can't turn around. Where is he? I hear something coming behind us. We need to move. We need to move. Both agents struggle to continue forward, tight space continuing to impede their movement. After a short time of struggling, both men fall forward into a larger open space. Jesus Christ, I can't... Where's Porter? Porter? He's not behind me. Can you see him in there? Okay. We need to get another team down here. He might have fallen into a ravine or something, or slipped back there, or... Ellis. Look. Both men turn around and illuminate the space. The space they are in, with their shoulder-mounted torches. In front of them is a massive structure, seemingly carved out of the stone around them. A thick fog covers the entire chamber. Beyond the fog, dim lights are visible in openings in the structure. It is impossible to determine how high or low the structure extends. The structure is only reachable via a narrow stone bridge that extends across a large chasm between the agents and the far wall. Is this the high school? Why does it look like that? Yeah, the geometry isn't right, but yeah, look there. That's the main entrance. There's another door there, yeah. This is the school. There's another one below it, and one below that. How far down does it go? Are there any other... Both men pause. Appearing over the bridge in front of them are 9 female humanoid figures, their faces obscured by long white hair. They do not move. Ellis? Hang on. The 9 entities hang in the air for a short time before suddenly appearing 10 meters backwards, and then another 10, and then right in front of the door to the subterranean school structure. The faces of all 9 suddenly become visible, and although they are not visible on the recording due to the distance, both agents noticeably recoil. Afterwards, all the entities disappear. Jesus Christ, what was that? Alright, God. We are not ready for this. There's a sudden sound of many voices speaking in hushed tones in the distance. Both agents react to the sound. The search team? Survivors? Come on, let's go. Both agents cross the chasm bridge, leading towards the non-Euclidean replica of Salvation High School. Upon entering, they find the main concourse of the school. No other entities are visible within. Porter? Anyone? Is there anyone here? I feel like... Jesus, you feel this too? Like you're looking at the whole room all at once. Yeah, it's the walls don't make any sense. Come on. I hear the voices down this way. Let's go. Both men move quickly down the closest hallway. As they do, doors on either side of the wall are visible. Although neither agent seems to notice, faces are occasionally visible through the glass panes in the doorways. They are impossible to make out. Here, this is the door to the auditorium. I bet they're in... Agent Ellis opens the door. As he does, the video recorder disconnects. Agent Haskell screams and scrambles backwards. The voices increase dramatically in volume, and from Agent Haskell's perspective on the ground near the door, 9 female figures appear around Agent Ellis. Their movements are erratic, and their bodies are contorted into impossible positions. They close on Agent Ellis, and the man and the figures disappear. Oh, Ellis. God, oh God! Agent Haskell stands and begins to run away from the door. As he reaches the end of the hall, he looks back over his shoulder and sees the 9 figures approaching. Oh, crap. No. Hello? Is anyone there? Help me! God, please help me! Hello? Oh, please, God, help! Agent Haskell turns again to see the 9 figures in the hallway behind him. Though they are no longer moving forward, instead, they hang in the air, unmoving. As Agent Haskell's pace slows, he watches them for a moment and then stops. His breathing becomes quick. What do you want? Agent Haskell turns slowly to look behind him, and upon turning, is face to face with a small, black, humanoid creature sitting upside down on the ceiling of the hallway. The creature has no discernible features, but its presence creates significant visual distortion in Agent Haskell's camera. Hello. I just noticed. I knew I heard talking. Dude, my phone. I would like to apologize if you were picking up an echo. I didn't realize I had my phone's volume on. So, the stream was playing from my phone while I was doing this. My bad. Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes. Unidentified, black silhouette sitting on the ceiling. Hello. There is a loud, low sound like a bell tolling. The sound continues for 20 seconds. The video feed for Agent Haskell goes dead. The audio feed begins to experience severe distortion, as if the signal was being drawn out over a longer period of time. There is a snapping noise, and then the feed goes silent. All 3 signals are quiet for some time. Eventually, all 3 radios begin responding again. Just wants to be. Wouldn't you like to just be? Yeah, we all would die. No more of the 9. We all would... They're back. Silence for 81 minutes. Wall is like every other wall. This hall is like every other hall. Down and down and down and down. No more, please. No more down. Can't go down anymore. Can't go. Silence for 18 minutes. Ellis? God, can anyone hear me? Does anyone know where I am? Know who I am? I can't see the light anymore. I can't see. Oh God, it's only dark. It's only dark down here. I just want to see the light again. Silence for 9 minutes. Haskell, laughing and speaking incoherently. The 10th is down below. The 10th is madness. Woke it up. There are 9, but the 10th is down below. Oh God, please just make it. Silence for 9 minutes. Porter screaming. I'm not gonna scream. It is 9 o'clock at night. Silence for 9 minutes. I see you down there. You want me to come in? You want us all to come down and be with you down? Wet choking sounds. Splashing. Sharp intake of breath. Wet choking. Silence. Silence for 9 minutes. Fall forever, fall forever, fall forever, fall for... Sound of wind moving past the microphone quickly. Silence for 9 minutes. Goes on forever. It goes down forever. We're in here forever. Just more of the 9, more of salvation. Down forever and ever. None of them got out. None of them got out. None of them got out. Unidentified voice through Porter's radio. Hello. Porter, weeping. Porter, static. No more transmissions from any of the 3 microphones received after this point. Possible exploration attempts into SCP-3935 as Class D subjects are forthcoming. End log. Oh, okay. It did the thing where I haven't been active for long enough, so it paused the music. Okay, I'm really liking this so far. This is freaky. Addendum 3935.4. Anomalous activity in Salvation. The following are incidents of anomalous activity in Salvation, Indiana, reported by staff during the Foundation's occupancy of the town. Reports of a figure dressed as a UIU agent who tries to direct individuals toward the high school. This figure disappears if observed for too long. Agent Wells reported seeing a small black figure sitting underneath his vehicle upon approaching. After looking beneath the vehicle, the figure was not there. Afterwards, Agent Wells reports always seeing the black figure in his peripheral vision. Many reports of sounds coming from a grove of trees near the high school. Examination of the grove returned only a dilapidated one-bedroom house and 9 data expunged in the backyard. The appearance of 9 hanging female figures drives off the exploration team. Further examination of the grove was unable to locate the house. After dark, many agents report seeing the 9 female humanoid entities, with extremely distended features, or no features at all, jerkily moving towards them in the dark only to slide into the earth or fade away before reaching them. Some reports of similar figures up in the trees. Reports of several bodies, no more than 9 at a time, that float up from the bottom of a small pond. Oh, wonderful. Cool. Nice little bot. That's the scariest thing tonight. Anyway, I'll get rid of that in a minute. Reports of several bodies, no more than 9 at a time, that float up from the bottom of a small pond outside the town and rust at the surface of the water before sinking and disappearing, likely connected in some way to the 9 data expunged that appeared behind the house in the grove. Alright. Hello, Mr. Viewbot. Here. Do I do this on mobile? Yeah, I'll just do it on, Goodbye, Mr. Viewbot. And we've been going for an hour already. Okay. Access, let's see, Addendum 3935.5. Interview with person of interest. Let's see, how long is this? Okay, it's not too bad. We're almost done here. Note, the following interview was conducted by Agent Brian Ames in 2002. The subject, Mrs. Valerie Fletcher, was a teacher at Salvation High School during the period of anomalous activity in 1976. Image of an unidentified figure in the sky, collected from UIU report. Ooh, that's scary. Let me grab another sip of water. Water. Make sure you guys are staying hydrated. Agent Ames, can you tell me about your time at Salvation? Oh, well, you know, I already told you about the memory loss. just can't seem to string anything together anymore. Likely due to the experimental amnestic, Chemical 1110, utilized by the UIU in the 1970s. I was a teacher, though, see? I taught, English, I believe. And yes, I was at Salvation for some time. What can you tell me about the town? Anything you remember that stands out? Well, it was quiet, you know? One road in and one road out. We didn't get many outsiders, so we were a pretty tight-knit community. I don't even think we had police, you know? Because who would need them? We didn't have crime, not really. There were always some people who would tell stories, you know. Yes? What? Hello? Hello? You were just talking about people telling stories, Mrs. Fletcher. Oh! The young people would go out into the woods and get themselves all riled up about whatever spook or specter they thought they were seeing out there. There were some things that were strange. Well, I don't know if they were actually strange, or if it's just my memory giving me trouble again. Like, sometimes you'd be driving down the street, and you'd see somebody standing on the side of the road, waving, just like this. You'd look back, and nobody would be there. I think it was just the kids playing pranks on people. What about the high school? Anything strange ever happened there? High school? You were a teacher. Salvation High School? Yes. I was a teacher. I taught English, I think. Do you remember anything strange happening at the school? No. No, I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. We did have a child disappear once, I think. The last she was seen was by the pool, and then nobody ever saw them again. I think they ended up saying they just ran away. Some of them were problem children, you know, trouble. And there's just nothing you can do. Maybe it was better for them, I don't know. There were a lot of people in Salvation who had some strong opinions, and some of them didn't sit very well with the young people. What do you mean? Oh, you know, the church was very important in town. We had a few, and almost everyone went. But we had, if I remember this right, there was one girl who got pregnant, I think. I'm sorry. What were we talking about? I can't seem to... hello? A girl who got pregnant. Yes. Out of wedlock. It was quite a scandal. I don't remember what happened to her, but I know a lot of people were very upset about it. You know, I don't think I remember that girl's name. No, but I do remember her coming to me one time and asking about something strange she had heard. She was pregnant, out of wedlock. It was quite a scandal and didn't want the boys to see, but she said she was sitting on the bleachers and kept hearing a knocking. Like somebody hitting something. She didn't want the boys, didn't want them to... Mrs. Fletcher? I'm sorry, I'm just so all over anymore. She said she would see things sometimes too, but I don't know anything about that. She also... well, I don't know if I dreamed this or not, but I remember her saying hello to me too many times, all at once too. Not like a greeting, like it was the only word she knew for a moment, like it was all she... hello? Is there anything else about Salvation you remember? It all blurs together. After all this time, I seem to remember there was one time when somebody found a girl. Maybe the same? Well, I don't know, but they were strung up in the woods like a hanging. I think they called it a suicide. One of the girls who did cheer, you know, but it was somebody who... well, I don't know why they'd do anything like that. They had a note, they had written with a... I'm sorry, anyway, a note in their hand. Actually asked me to look at it, see if it was the same handwriting and everything. What did it say? Oh, well, if I remember right, it was on one side. They just had just like a drawing, like a building, but strange somehow. I don't remember why. On the other, it was just a word written over and over again. I don't remember what it was. I think it was wet or something. You couldn't make it out. Very queer now that I think of it. What a strange thing to write just before you die, don't you think? Do you remember anything from the week you were evacuated? No, well, I mean, the vapors were very strong that week. From the factory, they said that we might experience hallucinations, and I definitely did. See, I saw some things. Well, there was one day I imagined a child floating backwards into a wall, and then they suffocated. Heard him screaming and pounding against the wall. We all did. It was a strange hallucination. He stopped. I'm sorry, what am I doing here again? We're just talking, Mrs. Fletcher. I'm here with the insurance company. You were talking about the hallucination, remember? About the boy in the wall? Oh, yes. I'm sorry, I just don't remember quite so well anymore. The hallucination, though, I saw that boy go in, and then we didn't hear anything else. Now that I think about it, that's very peculiar. The hallucination was very clear. He cried for a long time and seemed so afraid. But, well, I don't seem to remember it bothering me. I think it must have just been a prank. One last question, Mrs. Fletcher. After the earthquake, they found a room underneath the basement near the pool. Do you know anything about that? No, I don't. Nobody ever went into that room, but the janitors, I think. Just storage. Though, you know, I think that girl asked about that room once. Said she heard some things coming from it. She was very interested in it, I think, before she, either way. But I don't know. I might not be remembering that right. Some of the hallucinations, they told us not to think about them anymore, so I do try not to, but I know some other people who have, and they aren't doing very well anymore. Thank you again for your time, Mrs. Fletcher. Actually, before I go, do you think you know anything about this? Shows the subject an image taken of the 9 unidentified female figures. At this point, the subject becomes noticeably pale and short of breath. Well, yes I do. Those are that's the cheerleaders. There were, let me think. There were 10 of them, though, I think. Unless something happened to one of them, there were definitely 10. End of transmission. SCP 3935 by DJ Cactus. Dude, that was... DJ Cactus? Bravo. That was good. That was a good read. This right here is what I was hoping for. when I decided to do this stream. Like, this was a long one, which did kind of intimidate me at first, but like, by the time I got about halfway through this addendum, going over like all the stuff leading up to it, I was like fully invested. This was good. This was creepy. There was enough like spice and substance going on here to make you go, okay, this is freaky. But it's also like unconnected and unexplained enough that kind of makes you go, what the heck is going on? There are like just enough hints and breadcrumbs to hint at what might be going on here. Lots of creepy imagery. Like, this was good. This was very good. So yeah, DJ Cactus. Also, while I'm thinking about it, I am going to go ahead and make a list of all of the SCPs that I read. Hold on. There we go. All the SCPs that I read in, so far. Actually, this citation is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and compile citations for all of the SCPs that I read tonight, so I can put them in the description and of the VOD, and you guys can all check them out. Let me go ahead and grab this one. And 73 Moto 42. So I don't know if Moto 42 is the one that transcribed the 4chan posts, or if he's actually the one that you know, made the 4chan posts initially. Because I was mentioning earlier how we don't know who wrote 173. At any rate, dang, can't. Oh well, that's fine. So, yeah, hold on. I think Series 3, nope, it would be Series 4, and it was, I want to go back to the page, 3935. Oh, hold on. Okay, so this is like going to be down 393. Hold on. Oh, that's 3953. Hold on. 3935. This thing, Quiet Madness made. Yeah, what were the names of... it doesn't show. Dang, that sucks. Okay, so yeah, I kinda don't really have that much more to say about this one, other than it was, sufficiently spooky and creepy and eerie, and it had just enough interest and intrigue. Yeah, this was a good one. This was very good. I'm very glad I found it. This right here is the joy of like going to the SCP wiki and clicking random. You might find a coffee mug that turns all the liquids that are poured into it into grape juice, or you'll find eldritch non-Euclidean maze beneath a school that just turns the town into whatever this is. So, without further ado, let's pick out another random SCP. Adult content. It Let's see here. This article contains adult content that may not be suitable for all readers, features sexual themes or language, but does not depict sexual acts. Yeah, I'm not gonna risk it. It is SCP-2607 if you are above the age of 18 and are interested in seeing what's going on behind this content. But I am not going to read this out loud. So let's pick another one. Reroll. Speaking of the weirdly mundane... Oh, this is a joke SCP. Hold on a second. Alright, this is like just this. I didn't think JSCPs were like part of this. Hold on. SCP-5000-J. Object Class Uncontained. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-5000-J is considered uncontained until Foundation agents get to the bottom of who took the cookie. Which one of you? Description. Was it Buddy? Couldn't be. Then who? Do we have the answer? Oh. Description. Was it Director Actus? Couldn't be. Then who? Was it Rakmal Lucen? Couldn't be. Then who? Was it Darkblade with infinite angst? Couldn't be. Then who? Was it Giancarlo De Luca? Couldn't be. Then who? Alright, I think I see what's going on here. Was it Dr. Madison Craggs? Couldn't be. Then who? Was it Dr. Claire Withers? Couldn't be. Then who? Was it Robert Dux? Couldn't be. Then who? Robert Dux. Oh. It was definitely Robert Dux. You know who it was? It was Duckbeard. Robert Dux? A duck that steals things? Duckbeard is a pirate. I'm just saying. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. Anyway, I didn't realize the -J SCPs were part of this. I might not skip them whenever I get one. Consider this a little treat after going through the eldritch horrors of the last SCP. SCP-7228. Item number, SCP-7228. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures, SCP-7228 is stored inside a standard containment locker at Site-19. SCP-7228 itself is to be positioned, tip pointing upwards, on a magnetic stand with a detachable glass lid. The object is not to be removed from its container except for testing purposes. Personnel are to use forceps when physically interacting with SCP-7228 in case of unwarranted puncturing at Protocol 7228. See Addendum 5, must be implemented immediately. Otherwise, SCP-7228-A instances can be disposed or contained on discretion. Description: SCP-7228 is a brass-coated acupuncture needle measuring 3.5 centimeters. Other than being slightly bent, the object is in good condition. SCP-7228-A are objects punctured by SCP-7228. Footnote 2. SCP-7228 can puncture objects that would be difficult or impossible for non-anomalous needles, including anomalously durable materials. Interesting. So basically, if something is like anomalously durable, like can't be like broken by like, you know, normal means, this thing can puncture it. SCP-7228-A instances will undergo one of two states depending on the amount of force applied with SCP-7228. Instances punctured with minimal force will deflate over time. Uh-oh. Oh, my roommates are home. Examination of the point of entry reveals the instance's interior to be filled primarily with air. Oh, God. SCP-7228-A will continue... Ooh, Stop! Stop, Duckbeard! I know you're the one that took the cookie! Stop! SCP-7228-A will continue to retain previous functions and traits until completely deflated. Instances are unresponsive at that point, and their exterior will become soft and highly stretchable. Instances punctured with excessive force will experience an accelerated and explosive barotraumatic reaction which damages the tissue surrounding the point of the puncture. This better not be a freaking inflation SCP, I swear to God. In both cases, the instance will be retroactively changed, so they are, have been, and always will be a balloon. Oh my god. The freaking inflation SCP? So this SCP sounds like it's anti-inflation. Hold on. It said puncture with minimal force. It didn't. Hold on. It doesn't say what happens if you like do it with like. Okay, so I think what's going on here is that if you know, you get poked by it, then you'll just deflate like a balloon. You won't inflate, it will deflate you. So, and basically, like, once you are completely deflated, it's like, oh, that was just a balloon catagon. That wasn't an actual catagon. Or that was like a balloon bookshelf. That wasn't an actual bookshelf. Interesting. But hold on. This is excessive force will accelerate explosive barrier. Okay, so I guess when you like poke like really hard, that's when it becomes the inflation one. And it basically just like makes you explode. Oh no, okay, I think I get it now. If Okay. No, I see what they're saying now. I see what they're saying. That took me a minute. If you, like, poke it, if you just, like, poke it, then you'll just, like, deflate. You'll leak air and deflate like a balloon. And then if you, like, poke it forcefully, it basically pops you like a balloon. That is crazy. That's a little frightening. What was this object class? Euclid. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see, I think it can, like, deflate something, and then the thing becomes balloon-esque and become inflatable. Let's see, Addendum 1 History. While SCP-7228's exact origins could not be traced, it is known the anomaly was in the possession of the Zeppelin Riders, GOI 1843, prior to containment. What is this song? It's an interesting one. Anyway, see, 7228 origin could not be traced. Some of the anomalies in the Zeppelin Riders, prior to containment. GOI 1843 is a minor outlaw motorcycle club active in under-the-veil drug trafficking and the smuggling of anomalous materials across the western United States. GOI 1843 had a sizable following, with the mother charter being considered one of the most prominent and active of the organization. Todd Lopez, Enforcer, possesses the ability to discharge heat from his oral cavity via a thaumaturgic dragon tattoo on his neck. Luis Garnett, Witch. Just Witch. They're like, yeah, no, we're not beating around the bush. She is straight up a witch. Specializes in pyromancy and limited thaumaturgy. Vance Chikatilo, primary chemist, also possesses knowledge on both non-anomalous and anomalous chemistry. Is Britland's main bodyguard. William Brady, Enforcer, Class 2 reality bender that can affect his nearby surroundings. Nelson Britland, president of GOI 1843, and is not reported to have any anomalous abilities. Interesting. Foundation became aware of GOI 1843 when they tried to expand their territory into the southwestern region of the United States. Even after numerous arrests, GOI 1843 continued to grow. Upon gaining intel Britland was somewhere in the state of Oregon, the Foundation formulated plans to apprehend him when a complication arose. Interesting. Let me take a sip of water. Water. Yeah, that's the thing that, like, freaks me out about this needle, is the fact that it's, like, so small. And that, like, any prick and you're just dead, balloonified. Let's see. So, is this gonna take me to another page? No, it's gonna open a file. Interesting. God, these are long. My God. Jeez. This is just like... That is so much for a simple balloon needle. That's a whole novel. I'm like... You know what? I'm gonna, like, read the little addendums and then see if I want to read the log, because there is so much here. I don't want to spend so much... Like, I spent a lot of time on the last one. I don't want to spend that much time on the balloon needle. Yeah, this is a fanfiction. This is a whole fanfiction. Addendum 02, imprisonment. Undercover field operatives Agent Rodney, Agent Harper, and Agent Holland failed to make a scheduled check-in with designated contact at headquarters. An investigative response unit was deployed to the area, whereupon they discovered the scene of the skirmish and Agent Holland's remains. All available assets in the region were placed on high alert, and efforts to locate and rescue or recover the unaccounted for agents were initiated. Dismantling GOI 1843 was deemed a higher priority, however, a lack of leads made locating the mother chapter immensely difficult. Although several personnel casted doubt on the rescue operation, Agent Rodney and Agent Harper was still alive. I'm going to assume that what is going on here is that these guys are using the needle to, you know, prick them, and then they just deflate. Brooklyn strikes Agent Rodney's head with the butt of the assault rifle. Maybe not. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm sure that this is all really great, and I totally encourage any... superpowered... Yeah, the balloon needle has a fanfiction with superpowered original characters. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am a little bit interested in reading all the fanfiction. I just do not want to do it on stream, because that is gonna take so freaking long, so I will encourage you. It is SCP-7228. I will be including links to all of the SCPs I read on the VOD that I will upload to YouTube. If you want to see what's going on with this, like, superpowered crime syndicate and how it relates to a balloon needle, by all means, please do. And then tell me in the comments what any of this has to do with this balloon needle. Addendum 3 escape. Agent Rodney escaped his imprisonment, obtaining SCP-7228 in the process. Agent Harper's status remained unconfirmed. The location the agents were held at was Highland Park. Highland Park was an oceanfront amusement park near the Oregon Coast Highway. The establishment was once popular for its attractions and appealed to young audiences, but soon foreclosed as a consequence of the Great Recession. Since the property was generally isolated from urban centers, Brooklyn had repurchased it as a major safe house and hub for GOI 1843 activity. As a result, from aforementioned Foundation intervention, either GOI 1843 members were unable to arrive at the park, leaving the Mother Chapter solely in charge of it. Because of this, Agent Rodney would theoretically have navigated the pier without issue. Unfortunately, due to an oversight on his part, that was not possible. Addendum 4, Confrontation. Following the raids against GOI 1843, one of the organization's ward captains confessed the location of Highland Park during interrogation. Foundation assets disguised as law enforcement and medical services were deployed. Seeking to quickly resolve the situation, deliberately, Agent Rodney, despite finding the means to maintain his anomalous form, was still in danger. In spite of everything that occurred, Agent Rodney and Agent Harper survived. Both agents were sent to the nearest site for emergency medical treatment. SCP-7228 was confiscated, and civilian paramedics at the scene were amnesticized. The cover story involving of arson was fabricated to account for the destruction of Highland Park. With Britlin and his crew terminated, and the lack of major leadership in the organization, GOI 1843 became much easier to dismantle. As of the time of writing, most GOI 1843 had been apprehended, with the majority of them amnesticized or assigned to Class D personnel. Agent Rodney was designated as Class E personnel, and Agent Harper requested to not be assigned to Agent Rodney as a partner in the future. Request granted. Addendum 5, Protocol 7228. Shortly after SCP-7228 was contained, it was learned that, through extensive research, minimally punctured SCP-7228-8 instances can revert back to their original states if all sources of air leakage is sufficiently stopped and sealed for an indeterminate amount of time. Agent Rodney was the first successful application of Protocol 7228. Agent Rodney lost all anomalous properties and was declared fit for duty. Upon hearing this, Agent Rodney requested a sick day. Request denied. Dang. Hate to see it. Oh, they've got like footnotes for the stuff that I didn't read. Let's see what we skipped. Let's see. 4. Identified as Brady. 5. Most notably, their appearance closely resembles those from the light gun Nintendo Entertainment System game Duck Hunt. So if you want to know what resembles the Nintendo Entertainment System game Duck Hunt, read the fanfiction. Alright. So, to give my thoughts on this, number 1, the idea that you get pricked by this needle and then you just start deflating like a balloon is kind of terrifying to me, because that goes into body horror. Like, you will just slowly deflate unless you can, like, stop the air leakage. Like, does it, like, turn you into a balloon as soon as you are pierced, and you just become balloon-like? Like, not to mention the fact that if you poke somebody forcefully enough, you just pop them like a balloon. I don't like this one. I don't mean that I don't like, you know, the writing on this one. I mean that, like, I would want to stay as far away from this as possible. Because, like, the fact that it's so small means that it would be so easy to just accidentally prick yourself on it. Do not like it. Makes me very uncomfortable. To get into a major criticism... Oh, yeah, real quick. When I say I don't like it, that is a compliment. You have created something uncomfortable that I do not like. To, you know, get into actual criticisms, though. I do not think you needed a whole fanfiction about busting this anomalous crime unit for this needle. Like, I'm just gonna say that. Like, I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's amazing. One of the best written fanfictions on this site. But, oh boy. Like I said, though, let's take a look at the citation. Nick the Brick 1. So let's go ahead and add that to our list. And like I said, I am gathering the citations to all of these SCPs. If you are interested in checking any of them out, or checking out the people who made them, you will have all of those resources in the description when I upload the VOD. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and pull up another random SCP. SCP-3536. Didn't we hold on, didn't we just do 3535? No, I think it was 3935. Yeah, okay. Ooh, this one's a safe SCP. And it's not too long. Okay, item number SCP-3536. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-3536 is contained in a safe class storage room in Site-234. Testing of SCP-3536 with other bacterial SCP objects requires written permission from the Acting Research Supervisor, currently Dr. Maravilla, and all SCP-3536-1 instances created for testing purposes are to be destroyed by incineration following conclusion of testing. So it's some sort of virus. SCP-3536 is a large piece of machinery, approximately 30 square meters in area. SCP-3536's main components include a hopper labeled Raw Materials, 2 broth tanks, several pumps and compressors, and a console containing several dials. Both tanks will spontaneously refill with nutrient broth if emptied completely. Due to corrosion, only one dial is movable. SCP-3536 also possesses a receptacle that attaches to a small glass vial. A handwritten instruction manual recovered alongside SCP-3536 has provided incomplete details to its operation. The manual states that any mixture of compounds containing carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus will fuel SCP-3536, and recommends a mixture of charcoal, phosphoric acid, sulfuric acid, and nitrogen gas. If a bacteria-containing sample is placed in the vial and inserted, SCP-3536 will proceed to use the stored raw materials to create live replicas of any bacteria present in the sample. These replicas, hereafter designated SCP-3536-1, are magnified in size according to the selected setting on the movable dial. Testing has resulted in instances ranging in size from 2 to 45 centimeters. Dang. SCP-3536-1 instances are structurally stable despite the predictions of the square cube principle, otherwise they are not visibly or structurally different from other non-anomalous counterparts. Make sure you're staying hydrated, everybody. Discovery. Law enforcement in Georgetown, Guyana, detained 9 individuals attempting to kidnap a patient from Davis Memorial Hospital afflicted with endocarditis. The group was responsible for multiple reports of battery and illegal entry into various hospitals and had gained notoriety for their modus operandi of collecting various samples from infectious and terminal patients. Upon investigation of the ringleader's residence, SCP-3536 was discovered in the basement. A large amount of discarded SCP-3536-1 membranes were found, consistent with the later hypothesis that the individuals had subsisted on a diet consisting solely of SCP-3536-1. Ew. Also found alongside SCP-3536 were several dozen scrapbooks containing handwritten recipes involving SCP-3536-1 instances, personal thoughts and plans consistent with the failed kidnapping. Excerpts from the books indicated a growing obsession with SCP-3536 and SCP-3536-1 among the group. Of note, analysis has shown that the handwriting of the instruction manual does not match that of any of the 9 members of the group. D-Class test subjects who have consumed SCP-3536-1 instances, generally around 90%, report a very pleasant taste, but testing has failed to prove any inherent addictive or mind-affecting properties in SCP-3536 or SCP-3536-1. Took a gross turn. Okay, so let's take a look. Oh, where's the... hold on. Where's the citation? Why is it? Unless otherwise stated, the content of this page is licensed under Creative Commons Attribute Sharealike 3.0 license. Huh. Interesting. This doesn't... So this SCP does not include the citation for it, so I don't know who wrote this one. If you somehow end up seeing this, I will give credit to you in that you took a very mundane SCP that essentially just makes germs big. Which, you know, is an interesting idea. You know, it's a machine. You can put, you know, bacteria in it and it makes them big. Bacteria shouldn't be big. That's, you know, strange and unusual, but otherwise, nothing like world-ending scary about it. It's just something that defies natural law. And then you added the story of its discovery and added just such a weird left turn thing. I honestly really like it. Like, the idea of people, like, making germs big and then just eating them is so disgusting. But I mean, like, it's interesting because that makes you go, okay, so is this a machine that's meant to, like, you know, make edible germs? Like, is that its purpose, is to make these germs edible? What's crazy to me is that they were, like, hold on, where did it say? Group was responsible for multiple reports, and engaged. Yeah, from infectious and terminal patients. It's so interesting. So yeah, it doesn't say who wrote this one, and it doesn't really have, like, a citation that I can copy and paste, so I will go ahead and copy the link to the SCP. And let's go ahead real quick. How long have I been streaming for? Just under 2 hours. Interesting. I'm trying to decide how long I want to go. I think I can still go for a little bit longer. I don't know how long, though. At any rate. Random SCP. SCP-1976. So this is, like, an early one. An earlier one. So the earlier ones tend to be, like, a little simple, but lean more on the horror end. Or just straight up weird. So let's see. Item number, SCP-1976. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-1976 is to be contained within a standard humanoid containment chamber located within Site-55's safe SCP wing. Personnel entering SCP-1976's containment chamber are to wear tinted goggles to prevent accidental viewing of SCP-1976. All images and videos depicting SCP-1976 have been destroyed, and the creation of new images is to be considered a breach of containment. Description: SCP-1976 is a humanoid organism approximately 2 meters tall and weighing 80 kilograms. When viewed remotely, SCP-1976 resembles the subject believed to be responsible for its creation, an adult male named Alan Redacted, in a persistent vegetative state. If a human subject is able to view SCP-1976, whether by seeing it physically or on a reproduced image such as a photograph, they will come under the immediate and permanent belief that SCP-1976 is the person they recognize as their father, who has recently been injured due to a serious accident. Subjects will attempt to draw attention to their father's condition, which will invariably lead to additional subjects being affected by SCP-1976. If an SCP-1976 affected person is presented with their real father, they will not recognize them and react as though they were a stranger. Footnote 1. Subjects who have never known a father figure, have a deceased father, or have lived without their father since early childhood will be unaffected. If more than one subject is affected by SCP-1976 at once, they will each believe that SCP-1976 is their father. They will attempt to conduct logical arguments with other SCP-1976 affected subjects, attempting to use their interpretations of SCP-1976's appearance to convince them. When these attempts invariably fail, subjects will attempt to take SCP-1976 by force, sometimes attempting to contact higher levels of authority in order to accomplish this. SCP-1976 was discovered on 9/17/1976 after a case of massive confusion caused by SCP-1976 at a local hospital reached Foundation assets. Investigation into SCP-1976's origin revealed that it had been taken to the hospital from a residential address in Boston, Massachusetts. Several audio tape recordings from the address's basement, with neighbors and family members, issued amnestics. Addendum. The following is a series of audio tape recordings produced by Alan Redacted, a former mortuary assistant who had expired 2 days prior to SCP-1976's recovery. Investigation into connections between this individual and possible groups of interests have not yielded substantial evidence. Interesting. So let's go ahead and look here. Experiment 5. The stiff actually woke up this time. I couldn't transfer what I had onto him because he started freaking out, so I had to put him down. I don't think the girls heard it, so that's a relief. A wet cough is audible. This one, it's a real catastrophe, I tell you. I don't know how I'm going to explain how all the corpses keep going missing from the morgue to Mitchell, but I can't stop now. Hey Jess, hey Liz. It's Dad. I wanted to tell you how happy I am that you graduated high school. And if you didn't, well, why is your mom playing this for you? Laughter, which is suddenly cut off by a single cough. You're on to your next big adventure. College! You're both smart cookies, so I just know you got accepted into Harvard. I just wish I could see you now. Be good. And remember, no boys until after you graduate, okay? I'm holding your mom to that. Experiment 9. Nothing is working anymore. I can't get them to wake up, and Artie is starting to get suspicious that I'm at the dump every other night with a huge bag. There's a light snapping sound, presumably a lighter being turned on. What am I going to do? I'll have to make sure I get rid of these recordings so Anna doesn't flip her lid after I... God dang it. Hey Jess, hey Liz. It's Dad. If you're hearing this, it's because one of you is getting married. Sorry I couldn't be there for you on your special day, darling, but you know how it is with these things. I love you. And I don't know who you're marrying, but if you love him, I'm sure he's real special. I know that if you're getting married, a baby can't be far behind. No, I never dreamed of being a grandfather. I always thought it would be me and my girls, forever young. But I know that's impossible. Between you and me, I'd be a lousy grandfather. I'd spoil your kids rotten. I have been a fool. All this time, I thought making them wake up was what I had to do. But that school teacher proved me wrong. I'd better get back to work. A wet hacking cough. Like I said, the earlier ones tend to be a little bit weird. Oh man, this is another uncredited one. Dang. Well, once again, if you wrote this and you're seeing this, hats off to you. I enjoyed this. This is pretty good. I don't know what this Alan guy has to do with the creation of this. I'm sure this school teacher. Wonder... lore. Makes sense. At any rate, I don't know what any of this has to do with it, but one, I enjoyed it. Wasn't too long, didn't overstay its welcome. But honestly, not knowing what it has to do with the SCP object itself kind of works in my opinion. Because once again, it gets you thinking. It makes you go, okay, how are these two events related? And I think that's a good thing for an SCP to do. Also, you know, intercutting the experiment logs with this guy's messages to his daughters, who we can assume he is making because knows he is going to die. Very sad. Pulled on my heartstrings. Very good. Hats off to you. I applaud you. Jeez, it is 10 o'clock. Do I want to keep going? You know, I got 3 viewers right now, which is a lot for me, so maybe I'll do 1. SCP-4419. Oh, we've got a Keter class. I think everything up until this point has been Euclid. Let's see, how long is this one? Not too bad. SCP-4419. We do 1 more. Object class? Keter. Do we have an official pronunciation? Because I have no freaking idea. Special containment procedures. Due to the expansive range of circumstances in which SCP-4419 manifestations occur, containment efforts are to focus on information control and post-manifestation cleanup rather than physical imprisonment. Any witnesses to an SCP-4419 manifestation are to be dosed with a Class B or Class A amnestic as appropriate for their level of exposure. In cases where it is possible to restore the bodies of SCP-4419 victims to roughly standard human configurations, oh boy, a cover story is to be established to explain any remaining damage as a result of their original injuries. In cases where this is not feasible, victims of SCP-4419 are to be brought into custody and, if possible, euthanized. A cover story is then to be established regarding the death of the victim due to their original injuries or conditions. SCP-4419 leaving the area following a manifestation. Is this SCP just gonna be Fuumoko during the Hololive GTA collaboration? Because that's what those containment procedures sound like. Keter is the official pronunciation? Alright. I go back and forth. I kinda like how Keter sounds, depending on like who is saying it. Description: SCP-4419 is a vehicle resembling an ambulance of varying make and model, which will spontaneously appear in an area shortly before a medical emergency arises. The means by which SCP-4419 predicts these situations is currently unknown, although the appearance of SCP-4419 differs from manifestation to manifestation. It will always resemble an ambulance appropriate for the local culture. Upon the occurrence of the medical emergency, SCP-4419 will proceed directly to the injured individual, hereafter referred to as the victim. Oh boy. 2 individuals of varying physical appearances in paramedic uniforms will then exit from the back of SCP-4419, secure the victim, and bring them back with them into SCP-4419. The individuals that emerge from SCP-4419 will behave as expected from medical professionals in the situation, but will repel any attempt by others to prevent them from securing the victim via extreme physical force. Once the victim has been secured, within SCP-4419 will leave the area at extreme speeds, disappearing the moment it is outside of observation. 2 to 7 days later, the victim will be returned outside a local area suffering from extreme and invasive bodily modifications. Although the majority of these alterations would logically result in the death of the victim, death will not occur in these cases unless the modifications are tampered with or otherwise undone. The specific nature of these modifications differs from case to case, although there does appear to be a level of correlation with the original medical emergency. See Encounter Log 4419-1. Lovely. Y'all ready for some body horror? Encounter Log 4419-1. The following is a log of encounters with SCP-4419, the original medical emergencies in each case, and the bodily modifications applied to the victim. Note that this log does not encapsulate all known SCP-4419 victims, and a full record is available upon request from the Data Archive at Site-13. Date. July 2nd, 1983. Medical emergency. A braking car hits a pedestrian crossing the street, resulting in a broken leg. Bodily modification. Victim returned with all limbs amputated and relocated to protrude directly from his torso. Limbs were re-amputated, and a cover story was established to maintain the loss of limbs as the result of a much more severe car accident. Wow! Already, like right off the bat, first second, victim returned with all limbs amputated. Off to a great start. Alright, so that was actually February 7th. They're going by the European method. So November 23rd, 1994. A man suffers from a broken jaw following a fight outside a bar. Victim returned with his jaw forced permanently open. In addition, a glass window was installed in the mouth to permit viewing of the heart, which had been relocated to the back of the throat. Due to the relocation of the heart, a version of the body modifications was not possible and the victim was euthanized. June 19th, 1999, a homeless man suffers from a drug overdose. You know this is going to be the weirdest one. Victim returned to the same place he was originally taken from. The top of the victim's skull had been removed and the brain crudely scooped out and placed into the victim's hands, which had been fused together in front of him. While being brought into custody, the victim's brain fell out of his hands and he instantly expired. Note that at no point was the victim's brain actually connected to his nervous system. Fascinating. January 29th, 2003. A wife and husband involved in a car crash suffer numerous broken bones and severe bleeding. They're gonna fuse them together, aren't they? Victims returned fused together, called it by their backs. All bones that had been broken in the original accident were meticulously removed, resulting in the loss of use of some limbs. The victims were successfully separated, administered amnestics as appropriate, and their modified limbs were amputated. February 15th. Good God, this is body horror, alright? Yeah. 2006. An elderly man suffers from a heart attack. Victim was returned with 11 additional and non-functional hearts within his body stuffed between his existing organs. Expiration occurred when surgeons attempted to remove these additional hearts before agents could arrive on the scene. Surgeons and medical staff who had treated the victim were administered amnestics and the body confiscated. That's disappointing, because I feel like this is one of the ones that could have been, like, saved if, like, actual medical personnel hadn't gotten to him first. That's unfortunate. Like, if they were non-functioning, then, like, you know, they just could have cut out the extra hearts. So, this is September 19th, 2008. A fire at a bar. This is gonna be the worst one. A fire at a bar results in 19 people suffering from severe burns. An additional 7 people suffer from skull fractures and broken bones when they attempt to confront the individuals who emerge from SCP-4419 and are also taken as victims. It is believed existing injuries were exacerbated and new injuries caused by attempting to force 26 people into the limited space within SCP-4419. This is gonna be the worst. I just know it. Victims returned to the local community center as a single watery mass, which twitches and shivers when physical contact is applied. As no method of euthanizing the victims could be found, they are currently stored in a liquid tank at Site-31. Yeah. I was like, this is gonna be the worst one? That's the worst so far. Jesus. November 24th, 2014, a US military private is shot while on patrol in Afghanistan. I got a bad feeling about this one. Due to the suspicious nature of SCP-4419's arrival and the forceful securing of the private, other soldiers on the patrol fire upon SCP-4419... Hold on. Other soldiers on the patrol fire upon SCP-4419 as it leaves. Witnesses report seeing a viscous black fluid leaking from the resultant bullet holes in SCP-4419's surface. Victim is found broken down into a thin paste and spread over the walls of their barracks the next day. The agents who initially secured the remains reported seeing a mostly intact eyeball dilate when they approached. Although what has been brought into storage is referred to for convenience's sake as remains, it is currently not known whether or not the victim has expired. God! Ah! That one is the... Oh! Jeez. Oh! That just got progressively worse and worse. Holy crap. I'd like to remind everybody that this is an uncontainable SCP, and the Foundation is going to focus more so on cover-up than actually helping you. Anyway, so, that was horribly grotesque, existentially terrifying in some cases, just overall an uncomfortable time. That was amazing. That was like, yeah, that was great body horror. Jeez. Once again, because this one doesn't have any this one doesn't have any citations. If you somehow end up seeing this, good job. You sufficiently made me squirm. Hui. Go ahead and add this one to the list. Let's see. I think I can do one more. For now, I am going to say this next one might be my last one. Feel uncomfortable, which means it did its job. Exactly. Let's see, what do we have next? Oh, I saw 106 for a second there. Ooh. Item number 8607, level 5 top secret, containment class esoteric. Jeez, look at that. Well, now I gotta read this. Yeah, and this is one of the regular ones. It's not SCP Anthology 2024. Interesting. This is a recent one. Special containment procedures. Ooh, let me take a sip of water real quick. Get the music back up. I don't know if this is going to be scary or not, but I definitely think this is going to be interesting. Lucy lives in a big house on Maple Road. It is number 14. It has red brick walls and a brown tile roof and a great big chimney. The chimney doesn't work because it has been blocked up at the bottom, but Lucy likes to draw it with puffs of smoke coming out anyway, like a house-shaped steam train. Lucy's house has 11 rooms spread out across 2 floors. There is Lucy's bedroom, where Lucy sleeps and draws and reads and makes things sometimes. Daddy's bedroom, the room that was the big spare room, and then became Mummy's bedroom, and then became the big spare room again. The little spare room, where things get put when they don't fit anywhere else. The upstairs bathroom, the downstairs bathroom, which is still called a bathroom, even though it just has a toilet and doesn't have a bath in it. The kitchen, where Daddy and Lucy eat. The dining room, where Daddy and Mummy and Lucy used to eat on special days like Christmas or Lucy's birthday. The living room, where the television is. The utility room, where the washing machine and the drying machine and the other machines are. What other machines? What other machines do you have? The basement room, where Daddy goes to work now. Lucy is not allowed to go into... Oh god, I just noticed how long this one is. But I'm too curious. Let's see, yeah. Excuse me. Lucy is not allowed to go into the basement room anymore because it is distracting for Daddy, and it is important that Daddy is not distracted. Lucy is not allowed into the big spare room anymore because it will give her bad memories and make her upset. Lucy is not allowed to exit the house under any circumstances. Lucy is to remain inside the house at all times. Lucy is not to leave the house. Lucy should never open any of the doors or windows. Lucy should not look outside any longer than is absolutely necessary. Lucy should not talk to strangers. Lucy should always listen carefully to Daddy and do what he says. Lucy should always follow all the instructions she is given as quickly as she can. Lucy should follow the rules even if she does not always understand them. Lucy must understand that they are to protect her. Lucy must trust Daddy. Lucy should always try to be polite and well-behaved. Lucy should be considerate of others. Lucy should be respectful. Lucy must finish her supper before she is allowed to have any dessert. Lucy must complete all of her homework for the day before she is allowed to watch television. Lucy must forget the past before she can be content with the present. For her safety and convenience, Lucy will remain 9 years old. Already, I am very intrigued. I love it when an SCP goes like, this is a special one for your possible last one, yeah. Given how long this is? What was that last bit? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Honestly, looking at how long this probably is going to be my last one. I'm sufficiently spooked. Description. Lucy has long hair that is the color of brown. Lucy has nice eyes that are the color of brown and green. Nope, hazel. Lucy is 1 meter and 28.5 centimeters tall. 3 positive things Lucy thinks about herself are: she is good at helping people, she is well behaved in class, she can run really fast. In her free time, Lucy likes to go swimming, draw things, watch TV, talk to friends, go to the park. Nope, can't do that anymore, Lucy. Lucy is not allowed to leave the house, remember? Some of Lucy's favorite things are ice cream, fluffy things, pencils, her friends, and Mummy is redacted. Some things Lucy doesn't like are people who lie, people who make too much noise in class, not being able to sleep because of shouting, Mr. Buttons. Interesting. Lucy is proud of her work in art, music, maths, personal development. Lucy would like to improve her work in science, English, history. Lucy finds it easier to work when people are quiet, when the teacher explains things clearly. Lucy finds it harder to work when she is sat away from her friends, when she is too far away from the board, when she is traveling between houses and doesn't have time to do her homework. In the future, Lucy would like to look after animals or make art. Lucy has earned 39 gold stars so far this... Dude, 39? Dude, that's a lot of gold stars. Lucy lives with... Nope, just Daddy. I wonder if all of this was about Mummy. For Americans, Lucy is 4.5 feet tall. Okay. Lucy's daddy is a scientist, which is a very impressive thing to be. Not the kind of scientist who can come to Parents' Day and talk about their job, but an extra special, extra secret kind of scientist. Lucy's daddy works for something called the Department of Abstraction, which is part of a very important organization that helps people all over the world. Daddy is a doctor of applied theoretics, which is a field so special and important that most people don't even know it exists. Daddy's important job means he didn't get to see Mummy or Lucy as much as he wanted to, and that sometimes when he did come home, he was very tired and needed time by himself. Lucy's mummy couldn't always understand that, even though Daddy only did the job because he loved Lucy and Mummy so very, very much. Lucy is very lucky to have a daddy who works so hard to give her such a nice house and such nice things. Lucy should be very happy. Interesting. So I'm guessing most of the rest of this is from the interview log. Alright, I'm not scrolling down because I don't want any spoilers. Like, this is definitely going to be the last one, but I am too interested in where this is going. There's no interviewee or interviewer here. Begin log. Today, Lucy decides to wear the shoes with the purple rabbits on them. She was given the shoes when she was 8. They're a little too small for her feet now and pinch at her toes, but Lucy likes rabbits. Daddy says the rabbits are actually more of a pink color, but Lucy says they're purple, and Mummy agreed. Lucy's favorite color is purple. Lucy pulls open her curtains because that is what you do in the morning, even if there isn't any point. The outside is still blank. The world looks like a piece of paper that somebody has scrunched into a ball and then tried to smooth out again. Lucy exits her room, walks down the stairs, and turns left into the kitchen. Daddy is already there. He is standing by the toaster. The toast has popped up, but it isn't very toasted, so Daddy puts it down again. The table is set with butter and jam and marmalade, and cereal and coffee and apple juice. Lucy, where's the milk? As soon as she has spoken, Lucy realizes that she has asked what Daddy calls a silly question. Lucy expects to be told that it's in the fridge and to get it herself, but Daddy doesn't speak at first. He hunches silently over the toaster, watching the metal strips turn red. Daddy, we're out of milk. Lucy, oh. Lucy looks forlornly at her Lucky Loop cereal packet. The box boasts that each wheat hoop could be one of 8,607 possible flavors. Lucy, no milk at all? No. When will we get more? Daddy is engrossed with the toaster. His finger hovers over the button to make it turn off. I don't think we'll be getting any more. Lucy stares at him in confusion. No more milk? No. Why? Because things are difficult right now. Why? Because they are, Lulu. Lucy glowers and chews at her lip. Lucy does not like being called Lulu. Lucy's mommy never called her Lulu. Why? Enough. There isn't any milk. It doesn't matter why. But I need milk. You don't need milk. We've got lots of other things. I don't like other things. You've got toast. I hate toast. The toaster pops up. Daddy has forgotten to turn it off in time, and the toast has burned. There's an ugly black patch in the middle of each piece. When toast got like that, Mummy used to call it charcoal. Daddy makes a noise and thumps the countertop with his hand. Dang it, look, you can still eat the cereal. No milk isn't going to make them taste any less of sugar and cardboard. They're icky dry. Well, maybe we could put some water on them. Lucy looks at Daddy as if he has lost his mind. Ew! Hey, better than apple juice, right? Daddy tries to crack a smile. Lucy doesn't react. The smile withers. Daddy lifts the piece of burnt toast out of the toaster with his fingers and puts them onto his plate. Lucy sits down at the table. I want to call Mummy. Daddy stiffens. You can't. The phone doesn't work anymore. But you can't. And Mummy is gone. Daddy has explained this. But what if I tried, though? For Christ's sake, Lucy, give it a rest. Everything outside is gone. Maybe she could bring more milk. Daddy butters the toast so forcefully that it cracks in the middle, spraying black crunchy bits over the table. There isn't any more sodding milk, okay? It's gone! It's run out! But there are still lots and lots of things we do have that are just as good. So let's stop worrying about the things we don't have anymore and start appreciating what we've still got, alright? Lucy stays silent. Lucy doesn't like upsetting Daddy. It makes her feel like her stomach is being squeezed. But Lucy finds it hard to understand which things are going to make Daddy upset and which things won't, so it is safer to not say anything at all. Lucy nods instead. You're going to have toast and marmalade. You like marmalade. Daddy stands up too fast and bumps into the underside of the table. It shudders and knocks his mug over, spilling coffee across the wood. Look at... God dang it! Lucy does not get up. She pushes herself back into her chair as far as she can go. She imagines pushing so hard that she sinks into the wood. Daddy mops up the table with a blue cloth and then puts more bread in the toaster to make Lucy toast and marmalade. He makes it in silence, the kind of silence that Lucy thinks means he's still upset. He forgets to put on the butter first, and there is too much marmalade. Lucy is thirsty, but does not ask if she can have a drink. The two eat without talking. Eventually, Lucy finishes her food, and Daddy puts their plates into the sink. Well, I should be getting some work done. What do you want to do? Lucy kicks her legs under the table. She would like to visit her friend Janie. She would like to go outside. She would like to talk to Mummy. I want to watch TV. Daddy nods. Alright, honey, but you know the rules. Homework first. Daddy goes to the cupboard in the corner of the kitchen and takes a thick green book from a stack of other thick, colorful books. Maths. It isn't real homework. It wasn't set by any of Lucy's teachers at school. They're study books that Mummy and Daddy bought. Most of them are too young for her now. Daddy puts the green book on the table in front of Lucy and opens it to a random page. It's one that Lucy thinks she's already done, and she doesn't say anything. Daddy gets her a piece of squared paper and an unsharpened pencil. There, you're all ready. I'm going to be doing a bit of maths today too, as it happens, so we'll be in it together, you and me. Daddy seems to be waiting for a response, but Lucy can't think of anything to say. She puts a finger on the pencil and rolls it back and forth across the tabletop. It makes a clacking sound. Clack, 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 clack. Alright, it's high time I get going. You good, okay? You be good, okay? Love you, Lulu. Daddy kisses Lucy on the forehead. His stubble scratches at her bare skin, and she twists her head back and forth to get away from it. Daddy goes down to the basement to work. There is a muffled humming sound as the door to the basement room opens. There is a loud click as the lock slides into place. Lucy picks up the pencil and begins to read. End log. Well, here's Lucy, and here's Daddy, and here's the fridge, and the cereal, and I think that's the marmalade. Dude. This is so weird and interesting. I really want to know what's going on here. The thought so far is that they're in some world without anything outside their house. So, what I'm thinking might be going on. So let's take a moment here. Let's take a few steps back. So they mentioned about her daddy being a scientist, right? So her dad must work for the SCP Foundation. I am assuming something happened, and now he and Lucy have both probably been trapped in some sort of like weird pocket dimension. They mentioned the outside looking up like crumpled paper that had been smoothed out, so I'm wondering if maybe they're like in a book or something. I'm very curious as to why it's sort of reading like a children's book, you know? At any rate, let's read the next interview log. Begin log. Lucy quickly figures out the trick to the maths questions. The answers to each question are 8 and 6 and 0 and 7. Repeated over and over again. Hold on. 8, 6, 0, 7. Interesting. Very on edge because it could go anywhere, yeah. Noticing this makes Lucy feel very clever, but she still solves all the questions properly anyway, just to be sure. Maths isn't as much fun as when Mr. Hunt used to mark her work. Daddy doesn't put little ticks and crosses on her papers, and he doesn't give out smiley faces or stamps or gold stars, and Mr. Hunt didn't call her Lulu. I'm out of water. Thinking about Mr. Hunt makes Lucy think about Mummy again, and Janie, and the park, and the school, and the swimming pool, and absolutely everything, which she isn't supposed to do. It will make her unhappy. When Lucy finishes her not really homework, she does not go straight to the living room to watch television. Instead, she goes and stands in front of the big glass sliding door that used to lead from the kitchen to the garden. It still does, sort of, but Lucy can't see much of the garden anymore. Just a very few of the diamond-shaped pieces of stone that make up the patio, and then nothing. Lucy stares out of the glass pane, which she's also not supposed to do. Something might look back in. Lucy's too young to know what television static looks like, but if she wasn't, then that's how she would have described the color outside. The world beyond Lucy's house is covered in mist, or something like mist, or fog, or even snow, but also not like any of those. It's thicker somehow, gloopier, greasier, nastier. It's like someone has filled the whole world up with water, like a giant aquarium, and then poured rotten, clumpy milk into it. Huge clouds of white and gray silt drift slowly through the air, breaking apart and coalescing. It makes her feel uncomfortable to look at, but Lucy does look at it, because of the shadow. It's on the edge of the lawn, or where the edge of the lawn had probably been. A patch of slightly thicker darkness where some object is standing, concealed from view but not completely hidden. It could be a bush, or the wheelbarrow, or one of Mummy's big glazed pots where she used to put her favorite flowers and shrubs. Or it could be a monster. There are lots of monsters outside the house now, Daddy says, living in the fog, trying to get in. It's one of the reasons that Lucy can't go outside anymore. And Lucy has decided that the shadow on the lawn is Mr. Buttons. Mr. Buttons was the children's entertainer who came to Lucy's 8th birthday party. He had a white face and a big smile painted over his lips and bright red hair. Not red hair the way people normally have red hair, which, in Lucy's opinion, is more a kind of coppery color, but bright red like a car, or a tomato, or the fires of hell. Seeing Mr. Buttons made Lucy scream so much that she had to go inside. She didn't get to say goodbye to her friends or eat any of her cake until lots of pieces had already been cut out of it. Mr. Buttons was supposed to leave after the party, but Lucy never saw him go, so Lucy decided that Mr. Buttons had moved into the attic and was watching her at night through secret little holes in her ceiling. No matter how many times Lucy's Mummy and Daddy took her up to the attic, Lucy could never be convinced that he was gone. The attic was full of piles of old boxes and suitcases and books. Mr. Buttons could have been hiding anywhere. Even Lucy's Mummy and Daddy must have been scared of Mr. Buttons, because Lucy heard them arguing about him when they thought she was asleep. Who else's fault would it be? You were the one who invited him. And how the heck was I supposed to know what would happen? Am I meant to be a freaking psychic now on top of everything else? For a time, after he didn't appear at her 9th birthday, Lucy had made the mistake of believing that Mr. Buttons had really gone away for good. But now he was back, waiting in the fog, waiting for her. Lucy watches the shadow for a long, long time, resting her forehead against the glass. It doesn't feel cold or hot. It doesn't feel of anything. Eventually, Lucy decides that she has stared down Mr. Buttons long enough. She has a nagging fear that as soon as she stops looking at the shadow, then Mr. Buttons will begin to move. But she cannot stay in the kitchen forever, so she goes to the sitting room and watches television. Lucy always sits on the left side of the sofa, next to the spot where Mummy used to sit. Daddy always sits in the armchair. Lucy opens the television's recordings menu. All of the channels are dead. She has asked Daddy for something new to watch a bunch of times, but Daddy has explained that there are no new things anymore. Trust me, Lucy, you should be grateful for what we've got. Lucy finds it hard to be grateful. Lucy used to have all sorts of channels and shows and films to watch, and her friends, who could come over and watch them over and watch them with. And the library, and the park, and trips to the supermarket, and the sky, and the sun, and the moon, and the stars, and Mummy. Lucy isn't sure what she's got to be grateful for now. Lucy puts on a show about gardening. It's very boring, and the presenter is old and talks too slowly, but there are pretty pictures of flowers, and it's a program that Mummy used to watch when she was still here. Daddy hasn't deleted it yet, maybe because there are so few things to look at. Lucy watches the gardening show for a period of time. Then, at 0 hours and 0 minutes, the recording stops abruptly right in the middle of the presenter explaining the correct way to deal with greenfly. Lucy is confused. She has watched this episode before and knows that this isn't where it ends. She looks to see if she is sitting on the remote control, but it is by her side. The television switches back to terrestrial. It is set to channel 8607. The screen is showing an angry, flickering pattern of lights, which Lucy knows from personal development could be very dangerous for someone with epilepsy and should come with a warning message. Unknown.
Hello?
There is a face behind the lights. It is impossible to make out any of the features, but it's definitely a face. Lucy does not move.
Hello?
The voice is muffled, as if Lucy is listening to it from another room. Lucy tries to turn the television off with her remote, but it does not work. There is a nasty, bitter smell in the air, and there is something wrong with the television set. Wisps of white smoke are leaking out of the back of it as if something inside is on fire.
Hello there. Can you hear me?
The smoke is getting thicker and darker, and the flow is getting heavier. Lucy brings her right arm up to her mouth and bites at it nervously. She doesn't know what to do. Yes? Lucy thinks that she should probably get up and run away, but she's too scared to move. The smoke is spreading out, climbing up to the ceiling and falling down to the floor.
Hey, are you Lucy Carmichael?
The smoke is filling up the whole room now, like a mist, like a fog, like something nastier. Lucy bites her hand. I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. The smoke is getting into Lucy's mouth and nose and lungs. It smells of hospitals.
I've been looking for you for a very long time, Lucy. Do you think you could come a bit closer?
The face moves nearer to the screen. It is white and grainy. Lucy begins to scream. Mr. Buttons! Daddy, it's Mr. Buttons! Oh. Whoa. Interesting. What do we have here? Notice from the Foundation Records and Information Security Administration. In Lucy's dream, she is yelling for her daddy. She takes him by the hand and pulls him, half running, half flying, to the kitchen and the big sliding glass door. Look, look, she points triumphantly. The mist has fallen back, and the garden is visible again. There is no shadow by the edge of the lawn, but there are hundreds and thousands of rabbits, 8,607 of them, padding through the unmown grass, all moving north to south as if part of some great migration. Lucy presses her hand to the glass and feels warmth under her palms. Look, Daddy, it's all getting better. It must be safe again. The monsters are gone. Oh, Lucy. Daddy has grown tall. Terribly, terribly tall. So tall that the roof of the kitchen has had to disappear to fit him all in, and the space above them is black and empty. He looks down at her with so much disappointment that she could cry. Oh, Lucy, I thought you were mature enough to see by now. The rabbits aren't purple. Mariah Jones, director, Riza. This is so freaking trippy. Begin log. Dude, we're not even halfway through this. Daddy has smashed up the television. It sits in the corner of the room, a rubble of glass and wires and plastics. Lucy is sitting on the sofa. Daddy comes back with a black bin liner and starts shoveling the pieces inside. Lucy's eyes are shining. She kicks her legs, smacking her heels into the base of the sofa. Daddy, you broke the TV! Jesus, Lucy, is that all you can think about right now? Lucy bites her fingers. It was the TV. Lucy speaks as if that should explain everything, as if the sin of destroying a television were so obvious and so heretical that her daddy could not possibly fail to comprehend it. How will we watch TV? We won't. Daddy continues to toss fragments of the broken television set into the bag. Lucy's upper lip is trembling. She's thinking of Mummy and the pretty flowers and the boring presenter she'll never get to see again. But that's not fair. Daddy hurls a fragment of metal at the floor, and for the first time, Lucy understands that Daddy is very, very angry. Lucy sometimes finds it difficult to know how other people are feeling. Miss Mills from school has a board of faces with different expressions, but none of them look like real faces, and none of them look like Daddy. For frick's sake, it's a sodding television! You didn't lose a freaking limb! Lucy brings her knees up and wraps her arms around her legs. She squeezes them extra tight, like she's giving them a hug. God dang television. Honestly, you are such a spoiled little girl, Lucy. You really are. That's not because of me. Oh no, I didn't do that to you. I've always stood on my own 2 feet. You know what the most important thing in life is? Resilience. Being able to keep going when things are difficult. They don't teach it anymore. They don't let you learn to tough it out. How would it be if I curled up into a ball every time things got hard for me, huh? Who would look after you? Resilience. That's why I was the one who stayed to look after you. That's why you're safe. You should remember that, Lucy. Lucy does not understand what that means. She's focusing her gaze on the tops of her knees, pressing them together until they hurt. Daddy's voice quietens. He crouches down in front of her, trying to look her in the eye. Maybe it's for the best, you know? None of that stuff. I mean, it was just reminding you of things we don't have anymore. Things that make you sad. We both need to do a better job of forgetting about that stuff, okay? Lucy does not know how to reply to this. Forgetting things isn't something you choose to do. It's something your brain does when years and years and years have passed, or when you don't have enough space in your head, when something is really boring. It's easy to forget homework, or spellings, or the dates on which things happen in history. It's a lot harder to forget flowers. But Daddy is waiting for her to say something. Lucy does not like making Daddy upset. Okay. That's a good girl. Daddy ruffles Lucy's hair in a way that Lucy hates almost as much as being called Lulu. Lucy does not like being touched, except when she wants to be. We're in this together, Lucy, no matter what, and I'm always going to look after you. Daddy straightens up. It's going to be fine. You'll see. Plenty of kids don't have a television, so then I'll end up quite a bit smarter. Daddy goes back to throwing bits of the television into the bag, but they're not making such a loud noise. Lucy peers at the wreckage and thinks about how to ask the question she wants to ask without making Daddy shout at her. Why did it have to get broken? It wasn't safe. Why? It just wasn't. That is not an answer, but Lucy is careful not to say why again. She thinks for a moment. Who was the person in the TV? It doesn't matter. Why was it smoking? You don't need to worry about it. Was Mr. Buttons in the TV? Don't ask stupid questions. Lucy chews angrily on her lip. She doesn't think it was a stupid question. She doesn't understand what's so stupid about it. Why won't you tell me? You wouldn't understand. The pieces flying into the bag are clanging more loudly again. How can I understand if you don't tell me? Just trust me, Lulu. Don't call me Lulu. Daddy's lips thin. The pieces of television go bang, bang, bang. I don't know why you get so angry about that name. I really don't. It makes everyone think you're very childish. I'm not angry. You are. You're raising your voice and you're being stroppy. I'm not. Lucy wants to cry. She feels silly and stupid, and she isn't sure why. Daddy nods, satisfied, and picks up the bin bag. We don't need a television. There are plenty of things we can do together as a family. End log. Oh. There's Lucy, and there's Mr. Buttons. There's the smoke coming out of the TV. So one thing I was... Oh! There's Daddy's armchair. One thing I was wondering is if this was like a modern TV, or like an old-fashioned like brick type of television. But that kinda looks more like a modern flat screen. Alright. So we are about at the halfway point, I would like to get some water. I would like to get a refill on water before I continue reading. Because I get the feeling I'm going to throw my voice out if I try to read all of this. So, enjoy the spooky music. Enjoy this wonderful drawing of Mr. Buttons, and I will be back in a few. The pack is back. Dude, my roommates made cookies while I was streaming. So now I have cookies. So, yeah, if you don't like chewing ASMR, I apologize. I will try not to, like, get all up in the mic when I, take a bite. But I've got water. I'm feeling much more hydrated. And freaking 4 viewers, that is insane. Also, we are definitely going over 3 hours. Yeah, sure, you can have one. I'll go ahead and mail it to you. Just go ahead and, put your full name, and home address, as well as your, social security number, your credit card information, your bank account information, and, just put all that in the chat, and I'll go ahead and, like, get your cookies sent right over to you. Alright. Begin log. Daddy has given Lucy time to cool off, which is an expression Lucy hates. When everything inside her feels like it's fizzing and popping, she doesn't want to be cool. She wants to move and talk and be taken seriously. There are bite marks on her arms. Daddy is not going back to work today so that he can spend more time with Lucy. Daddy is going to help Lucy with arts and crafts. Lucy does not really need Daddy's help with arts and crafts, but she does love to draw. When Mills from school had called her a great artist in training, well, Miss Mills from school had called her a great artist in training when Mummy and Daddy came in to see her, and it was the proudest Lucy had ever felt in her life. Miss Mills took her for art and personal development and was in charge of the Leg Up Club that Lucy went to before school on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Lucy is in the kitchen. She gets her art folder from the cupboard. Lucy's art folder is a red paper folder that Miss Mills gave her so she could carry her pictures to school and back. Lucy used to show all her pictures to Miss Mills and tell her what was happening in them. Miss Mills always found them interesting and asked Lucy lots of questions. Lucy loved talking about her drawings. Lucy opens her art folder and starts going through the pages. There is a picture of a large rabbit. It is purple with blue eyes. There is a picture of Lucy with Lucy's friend Janie from school and Lucy's friend Megan, who Lucy met at the swimming pool. They haven't met in person yet, but Lucy thinks they would like each other a lot. There is a picture of, I already read that. There is a picture of a squirrel from the park. It is red. The park is only meant to have gray squirrels in, but Lucy is sure that she saw a real red one once, just for a moment. Daddy said she couldn't have. Mummy said that anything was possible, and she wished that she had seen it too. There is a picture of Lucy's house. Clouds of smoke are puffing out of the chimney. The house number is 8607, which is wrong. There is a picture that started off as a jellyfish, but then became a space alien. It is purple. It is blasting green energy from its tendrils. It is surrounded by stars. There is a picture of a big yellow crescent moon with a smile. Lucy made the curve of the moon by drawing part of the way around a mug, which Miss Mills said was very smart thinking. There is a picture of Mr. Buttons. He is very close, peering out of the page like he's waiting to climb through. His face is wider than the paper it's drawn on. There is a picture of some flowers. Some are red, and some are yellow, and some are blue, but most of them are purple. Lucy finally finds a bundle of blank pieces of paper and pulls them out. Daddy is making one of the paper puppets that Lucy got from the Leg Up Club. It has 2 arms and 2 legs, and a body that have all already been cut out. It comes with some special twisty pins, so you can put the limbs into the body and have them move back and forth. What do you think, Lucy? Should I make this one you or me? Lucy furrows her brow and gives the puppet her full attention. Art is very important. You. It looks more like you. Daddy smiles. Alright, this one will be me. We can make one for you afterwards, and then we can tell stories with them. How about that? Lucy nods enthusiastically. You can stick their backs to a ruler or a pipe cleaner, and then you can hold them behind a table so it looks like they're walking on it. Miss Mills had taught her that. She had a big stood-up rectangle that she called a paper puppet theater. Oh-ho, you'll have to show me how to do it. Daddy is using some of Lucy's pencils without asking. Miss Mills says that using someone else's things without asking is very rude, and if you do it, people won't want to be your friend. Lucy doesn't really mind, though. It's nice to be doing art with someone again. It has been since Lucy last had an art class. So, pausing real quick, I'm assuming that's, how many years or days or months? The fact that it has been redacted is concerning. And that is a lot of space to be redacted out, which makes me wonder how big that number is. Lucy frowns because something about that thought was wrong. She tries it again. It has been longer than Lucy can remember since Lucy last had an art class. That feels a little better. Lucy can't remember just how long it's been since she last had art with Miss Mills, but forgetting things when you're away from school is easy. But she frowns. The first time she tried to think back, there had been something else there. A big icy block of nothingness, like a completely different memory altogether. Lucy tries to think about it some more, but she can't really remember what it was like. The same way you can go from remembering to forgetting a dream in the few seconds after you wake up. Lucy decides to stop thinking about it, and pulls one of the pieces of paper towards her. Daddy is drawing a shirt onto his paper puppet. Lucy doesn't know what she wants to draw. Normally she draws things that she's seen recently, or places that she's been. But there isn't anything new in the house, and there isn't anywhere else to go. She tries to draw a butterfly, but the wings on each side of it don't match properly. She tries to draw a steam train, but it doesn't come out right, and the wheels go all weird and small. She tries to draw a garden full of rabbits, but for some reason, it makes her feel sad. So Lucy decides to draw her family. She draws herself in the middle, with Daddy on the left, and Mummy on the right, holding her hands. She gives Mummy a big purple smile. She gives Daddy a smaller red smile. She puts some big purple hearts floating around Mummy too. Lucy, I told you not to do this again. Lucy flinches. Daddy is staring at her with one of the expressions that Lucy can't read. His lips are a hard line. His voice is low and rough. Lucy tries to work what she has done. She hasn't broken anything. She hasn't made a mess. She hasn't gotten coloring pen marks on the table. But I told you, I don't want pictures of her in this house. Lucy had forgotten. Lucy imagines herself shrinking slowly smaller and smaller until her head dips below the kitchen table where she can't see Daddy's face. Why? Because it's my bloody house and I said so. Daddy reaches out and snatches the picture up from the table. Lucy tries to reach out and catch it, but Daddy has already pulled it away. There is a horrible noise as Daddy rips a third of the picture off and crumples it up. Mummy's arm is still there, holding Lucy's hand, but everything else is gone. Lucy lets out a strangled scream. Her eyes are hot and full of tears. My picture, you ruined it! Daddy opens his mouth, and then seems to sag and age before her eyes. His shoulders slump. Oh crap, I'm sorry, Lucy. It's a really good picture. Well, I'm going to put it on the fridge, okay? Lucy is crying. Her picture is ruined. Daddy sticks the remaining 2/3 of the drawing to the front of the fridge with the special magnet, the rectangular one with the photograph of the lemurs. Shh, it's okay, it's all okay. It looks lovely. Oh, Lucy, I'm sorry. Daddy didn't mean to. It's okay, it's all okay. Lucy takes a deep, noisy sniff. Her cheeks are red, and her eyes are red, and snot is dripping from one of her nostrils. Why can't I draw pictures of Mummy? Daddy clenches his teeth, and then steadies himself. He takes a big sigh. Because she's gone, Lucy. Everything out there is gone, and it's not going to come back. Daddy tries to place a hand on Lucy's shoulder, but but she bristles and shakes it and shakes until he takes it off. It's not healthy to obsess over her. It's not good for you. All it does is make you feel sad. It's better to just forget about how things used to be. Think about what we've got here now. You and me. Isn't that enough? No. Oh. Lucy stomps across the kitchen floor and snatches the lemur magnet from the fridge. Her torn drawing falls apart to the ground. Falls to the ground. The lemur magnet is special. Daddy had bought it for Lucy when they went to the zoo together. It was the first trip Lucy had been on without Mummy, and Lucy had been terribly grumpy the whole way through until they came to the lemur enclosure. The lemurs made funny faces, and Lucy made funny faces back, and then Daddy made the funniest face of all, and Lucy had laughed and laughed. It was like a magic spell had been broken, and the rest of the day was quite nice, even when it rained. If everything's gone, then the lemurs are gone too, so you can't keep this. Lucy throws the magnet across the room towards the bin. It misses by a few inches and drops behind it. Lucy, you pick that up right now. No, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. I hope Mr. Buttons gets you. Lucy throws more fridge magnets at Daddy. Numbers and letters and pictures. One catches him on the forehead. Lucy is shouting and screaming and crying. Daddy is shouting and screaming. It goes on for some time. At 0 hours 0 minutes, Lucy is sent to her room. End log. Very, very... Hold on. I wanna go up and check something. What? Oh, 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 oh! Rabbit. Getting a lot of YouTube notifications. Honestly, if this is the color of the rabbits that were on her shoes, then I kind of have to agree with her dad there. That looks more of a pink color. Let's see. So how far are we in? I think this is like right at the middle. So I get the feeling that things are about to like go crazy. I'm gonna take another sip of water. I'm also gonna have a cookie. I definitely picked... Well, I didn't pick, actually. That was the whole point, I pressed random. Regardless, RNG definitely gave me a very interesting article to end on. Cookie. Now I'm gonna wait until I'm done with this before I continue. I don't want to try and talk with my mouth full. I am curious, one, what the significance of the rabbits are. Because they keep bringing up purple rabbits. I'm also curious if RNG gave you an insane special one to end on, yeah. I'm also curious if you know, their parents separated because of a divorce, and that's why her dad doesn't want any pictures, or if they separated, you know, because I got trapped in wherever this place is, and her dad, you know, just doesn't want to remember all of that stuff because he's been there for so long and he's going a little loopy. Let's see. Notice from the Foundation Records and Information Security Administration. Notice the color association. Purple was the color of Mommy's smile. Red was both the clown color and Daddy's smile. Interesting. There was also a red squirrel. I was thinking about that. Well, it's further up. Yes. Picture of a squirrel from the park. It is red. I know red squirrels are a thing, but it makes me wonder, is this red as in like what an actual red squirrel looks like, or is this red like Mr. Button's hair? Also, keep in mind, I think the color that is being associated with Mr. Buttons right now is white. Which makes sense. Hold on. What's up here? Yeah, there is a picture of Mr. Buttons. He's very close. His face is wider. His face is wider than the paper it's drawn on. Interesting. I'm like, this is very, very interesting. Alright. Notice from the Foundation Records and Information Security Administration. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I, for a second there, forgot I was reading an SCP article. In Lucy's dream, it is her daddy, not her mummy, who is reading her a bedtime story. He doesn't know how to hold the book right, and bends the pages so far back that an ugly crease appears on the spine. Lucy wants to shout that he's ruining it, but she can't move an inch, not even to open her mouth. The story is a lot like Rapunzel, only instead of an evil witch putting the princess in a tower, it is a good and loving king who wants to protect her from all the evils of the world. Everything is over now, he tells her, but you can be safe here forever and ever 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 and ever. One day, a handsome prince rides by and the princess calls out to him, begging to be saved. Only when she lets down her hair and the prince climbs up to the top of the tower, the story goes all wrong. The prince's ears are too long and his eyes are too sharp, and he has too many teeth, 8,607 of them, and he won't stop laughing in a way that shows them all off. Lucy wants to tell Daddy that he's getting mixed up with Little Red Riding Hood, and that Mummy would never make that mistake, but he just looks at her sadly. I wish I could make like a staticky sound and just have that play for like a solid good few seconds. He says. Lucy feels so cold and so very, very afraid. Mariah Jones. I wonder if that's Mummy. Might be looking into it a little too closely, though. Begin log. Oh, hold on. No, I'm gonna have this last cookie real quick. So this was very on the nose symbolism, wasn't it? Like, obviously, her dad is the king. I wonder, though... Let's see. Yeah, it is the good and loving king who wants to protect her from all the evils of the world. Do you think her dad did this on purpose, actually? Maybe her dad's doing this as an attempt to keep her safe. What if that guy from the TV is like some sort of Foundation personnel that knows like what this guy is doing and is like trying to get trying to get her out of there. Like, leading up. That was a good cookie. Leading up, I had wondered if, like, this was some sort of experiment gone wrong, and, like, afterwards, like, now her dad is, like, in the basement trying to find a way to, like, undo it and get them out. But now I'm wondering if this was intentional. Begin log. Lucy is woken by a horrible noise. She doesn't know what the noise was, or exactly what it sounded like, but the echo of it is still in her ears, and the little hairs on the back of her neck are standing on end. There is a heavy feeling at the bottom of her stomach, just like when she broke Mummy's favorite mug. Hold on. So sorry, I had a long thought about to type alongside your theory, then the music played a deep orchestral version, Pop Goes the Weasel. I'm just glad that Pop Goes the Weasel didn't end with, like, a loud, like, musical sting, because that would have freaked me out. The noise came from below her, from the kitchen. Lucy told Daddy that she hated him. She scrambled out of bed. Lucy told Daddy that she hoped Mr. Buttons would get him. She takes the stairs 2 at a time. Lucy told Daddy such horrible things. And now, there is a shape lying on the floor of the kitchen. No, there is a person lying on the floor of the kitchen. No, there is a body lying on the floor of the kitchen. But it isn't Daddy. Daddy is standing over the body, panting. There is a hammer. Cookie crumb. There is a hammer in his right hand. The top of the hammer is red. Daddy looks tired and old. The body is perfectly still. Its head is angled away from the kitchen door, so Lucy cannot see its face. It has messy brown hair, with a dark puddle beneath it. Who's that? Go back to your room, Lucy. Are they dead? Your room, Lucy. Why, go to your room, Lucy, right now! Daddy turns. The hammer is still in his hand. He waves it as he speaks. Lucy flees up the stairs as fast as her legs can carry her. Lucy enters her bedroom without closing the door and climbs, trembling, onto her bed. She sits cross-legged right in the middle and drags the bed sheets over her upright body like a big hooded cloak. This is how Lucy sits when she is upset and wants to be seen, but does not want to be seen to want to be seen. Covering herself with the sheets makes it clear that she doesn't want to be seen by anyone, but sitting upright makes sure that she still can be. That is how Lucy sees it, in the secret private depths of her soul. When Lucy lay down in bed to cry, no one would notice, but when she sat up in bed with the sheets over her head and the door open, then her mummy would come in and be with her. She was always very quiet. Lucy wouldn't notice her mummy at all until she felt the familiar pressure of her weight as she sat on the bed beside her. Lucy wouldn't say anything, and for a while, Mummy wouldn't either. She would wait until her daughter was ready, and then a hand would slip under the bedsheets and take hold of Lucy's, big and hot and safe. The hand would give her a squeeze, and some of the sadness would pour out of her, like water being wrung from a sponge. Only then, in her softest voice, would her mummy ask what was wrong. Sometimes it would be people at school being mean, or making up lies, or making too much noise, even when they knew it upset her. Sometimes it would be Daddy being rude or loud or not understanding something. And sometimes it wouldn't be anything Lucy could understand or express. There would just be sadness and anger and frustration inside her, and she wouldn't know why or what to do with it. And Mummy would listen and talk, and little by little, she would pull Lucy out from under the sheets, and Lucy would feel better, even by just a little bit. Lucy waits in the darkness, with tears drying on her cheeks. There is no pressure. There is no hand. Time goes by. Lucy does not know how much time, because when the world ended, all the clocks in the house were taken away, and the sky doesn't tell her anything anymore. I'm sorry. Lucy is not sure who she is saying it to, or what she is saying sorry for. But everything has gone wrong. That means that it's probably her fault. I'm sorry. She whispers it again and again and again. As we go further and further, I get more and more worried that this story is gonna, like, rip my heart out. So, alright, this is something that's been in the back of my mind. And I want to acknowledge it real quick. So, like, Lucy has autism. They're making clear, I can't think of allusions. They're making clear allusions to Lucy having autism. With the whole, like, her not having trouble, like, reading expressions, and, like, not quite getting certain things. Like, this might be, like, reading too much into autistic stereotypes, but I feel like this Lucy is a child with autism. And, like, her dad definitely doesn't know how to deal with her child having autism. But her mom did. Oh, hey. That's the picture that they described earlier about the moon. I wonder... I bet these books have some significance to them. But it might come back up later. Overall, I'm not entirely sure what else to say other than very interesting, because it is like 11 p.m. and I am already going... I am already a little past when I said that I was going to call it. But, like, I want to know what... I need to know how this ends. I need to know what's going on. On the bright side, we are past the halfway point. Because of, like, the way that this is, like, written very vertically, it means that we are making progress despite how long the scroll bar is. Begin log. Please, I'm so invested too. Yes, absolutely. Begin log. An undefined amount of time continues to pass. No one comes up to see her, so eventually Lucy goes down. So scared they're gonna rip my heart out. Yeah, I am terrified. She tiptoes along the corridor, peering ahead of her in case Daddy is there. She sits on the top step, and then pulls herself down so she's sitting on the next step, and then the next, and then the next. No one comes to shout at her. Lucy stops on the last but one of the stairs, which puts her partly behind the big banister post at the bottom. She wraps her arms around it. The kitchen door is open, and the body on the floor is gone. Daddy is still there. There is a bucket and a mop, and a row of the colored bottles from under the sink that Lucy is not allowed to touch. The floor is wet. Daddy turns and sees her. His face is red and sweaty and shining. He gives her a strained smile. Lucy. He crouches down and holds out his arms as if to give her a hug. Lucy doesn't move. She squeezes the banister post tighter. Were they dead? Daddy gets up again and lets his arms drop. His smile drops too. Yes, Lucy. They were dead. Lucy pulls her bottom lip into her mouth and bites at it because it gives her more time before she has to speak again. Did you do it? Daddy is watching her intently. Lucy cannot read his expression. Yes, Lucy. I did it. To protect us. Lucy presses her nails into her elbows and pinches at the flesh. Was it Mr. Buttons? No, it wasn't that stupid... No, it wasn't Mr. Buttons. Lucy nods. This made sense. Mr. Buttons didn't have brown hair, and he probably couldn't be killed. Who was it? Daddy seems to think about this. It was a monster. From outside. It wanted to hurt us. It didn't look like a monster. It looked like a person. A lot of monsters look like people. Lucy presses her cheek harder into the banister until only one eye is peeking around it. Are you a monster? Daddy seems to slump without moving. His face grays. Then his lips twist. Jesus Christ, Lucy. Lucy shrinks back. She has said something wrong. How the frick can you sit there and ask me something like that after everything After everything... Daddy paces around the kitchen, turning left and right, as if hunting for some imaginary audience. His eyes are wide, his breath is heavy. He gestures at the air. Well, continue. Here we go. Jesus Christ, is that how she taught you to see me? Of course she did. Always, always. She always wanted to turn you against me. She always wanted to undermine me. Daddy is shouting. His voice is loud and strained, and strangely high. Something is squeezing his throat. Lucy lets go of the banister, tries to get up, but Daddy shouts so loudly that her legs go out from under her, and she lands on the step again with a bump. No, I didn't say you could leave. I am talking. I am talking. You are going to show me the respect I deserve as your father, and listen to me. You are going to understand. Lucy's body is shaking, as if she's cold. She does not feel cold. She digs her fingers into the stair carpet, pushing her nails in as far as they will go. All I have ever done is work to make you both safe and comfortable and happy. Was that so wrong? Could I have been like 1,000 layabout fathers? Could have left you to fend for yourselves, but I worked hard, and she hated that. She hated it. She hated that I was someone important, that I was doing something worthwhile. She hated how much I made. She would have rather we were living off welfare checks, and just so she could look down her nose at me. She was always desperate for something to be wrong, always looking for excuses to put me down, and make me suffer. Just look what she did to you. Lucy is holding her breath. She does not know why she is holding her breath, only that she is afraid that if she breathes too loudly, something bad will happen. When you two were together, it was like I wasn't even there. Like you had some secret language I didn't get to understand. When she came home, you would always jump up and run to her and tell her things. And how many times did you bother coming to see me when I got home? How many times did you tell me anything about your day or anything? Lucy bites her lower lip again. She has chewed at the skin until it's thin and tender, and when her teeth dig into it this time, she can taste blood. She focuses on the taste. Was that fair? Was that fair on me being cut out of your life? My own daughter? I was the one who made sure you could live here. I was the one who bought you toys and games and sweets, and you never ever showed me that kind of... Daddy shakes his hands like he's trying to wring the word out of the air. He gives up. As you showed her. Never. Did she tell you to do that? Did she talk about it? Did she spend the days I was away lying about me? Daddy slams his fist on the kitchen table, making it jump and wobble. Lucy jerks like a shockwave has passed through her. I did everything for you. For both of you. And nothing was ever enough to make you treat me the way you treated her. It was like you hated me. Like you were raised to hate me. Lucy is doing the thing where she takes in very short, shallow breaths, and then pushes them out again. It makes her head feel like it's swimming. Even after everything, she abandoned us, Lucy. When things get difficult, when there are problems, some people care enough to want to work on those problems, and some people just give up. Because they don't care. Because they never cared as much as I did. I was the one who wanted to work through things for you. To give you a proper family. She was the one who couldn't be bothered. Who destroyed everything we had for a few... Daddy fades into silence. A few moments of ragged breathing pass, and then he drives his fist into the wall, letting out a noise that is half a scream of pain and half a bellow of fury. How is that fair? How is it fair that I'm treated like some kind of monster? Like I was the one who cared. I was the one who tried. I was the one who wanted to protect you. Do I ever get appreciated? Do I ever get a single thank you? Tears are running down Lucy's cheeks. Her insides feel like they're trying to squeeze themselves up into a ball. Her stomach hurts. Her head hurts. Her lip is bleeding. I want to call Mommy. Data expunged. Lucy runs up the stairs on all fours, sobbing. She dives into her bedroom and slams the door. She buries herself in the bed. Daddy doesn't follow her. More and more, I am convinced that they are... Oh god, this is not going to end well. This is a very long dream sequence. Oh boy. So real quick, I think we just realized, she left in a divorce. And, from the way, her dad is talking, I don't blame her. Bro has a bit of a victim complex, methinks. What is from the Foundation Records and Information Security Administration? Sip of water. In Lucy's dream, something is very wrong indeed. She is running. In Lucy's dream, her father is down on the lawn with his wallet, pressing brightly colored banknotes into Mr. Button's hand. Mr. Buttons looks up at her window and winks. His smile is too big for his face. In Lucy's dream, she hasn't been to school in years and years. Miss Mills is sadly clearing out her class tray and throwing all of her pictures into the recycling. Lucy tries to shout and scream and beg her to stop, but she is too far away to hear. In Lucy's dream, the prince is climbing the tower like an insect, his limbs stretching and twisting as he scampers up the stonework. He won't stop laughing and pulling funny faces. In Lucy's dream, she can't stop running. In Lucy's dream, this mist parts and the shadow on the lawn is Mummy. She is frozen to death, all alone, and her body is as cold and gray as a statue. In Lucy's dream, the butterflies are angry at her for not drawing their wings right. They hurl themselves at her face while Daddy tries to swat at them with a hammer. Lucy tries to tell him that it's not their fault, but when she starts to talk, the butterflies swarm into her mouth. Daddy begins to take aim. In Lucy's dream, Lucy's house is in a snow globe. Mr. Buttons shakes it, and all her friends ooh and ah as the mist swirls behind the glass. Mr. Buttons shakes the globe so hard that the house itself breaks away and begins to dance through the air, just like another snowflake, faster and faster. In Lucy's dream, she has been running for as long as she can remember. In Lucy's dream, her class has gone on a field trip to where Daddy works. Everyone else is nodding, taking notes on their clipboards as Daddy talks about his job. But Lucy has not been paying attention and doesn't know what he's talking about. She wonders what an abstraction is, and for that matter, what a department is, and finds that she has accidentally shouted the questions out loud. The rest of the class is laughing at her. Daddy looks so disappointed and so old. In Lucy's dream, she's trying to brush her teeth, but they're all falling out into the sink and getting washed down the plug hole. Mr. Buttons calls down through the ceiling and tells her that he'll replace them with some of his when she falls asleep. In Lucy's dream, Lucy has broken Mummy's favorite mug. Mummy leaves and never comes back. In Lucy's dream, she has never been more tired in her life. In Lucy's dream, her rabbit shoes have teeth all around the openings, ready to bite down on her ankles. You have to put them on, Lucy, her daddy tells her. They'll stop you wanting to walk outside. In Lucy's dream, Mr. Buttons goes to the zoo. He is choked with fog, but the animals are still there. Lucy screams that she is sorry, so sorry, but it doesn't make a difference. Mr. Buttons finds the lemurs, the exact ones from the picture, and smashes their skulls in with Daddy's hammer. He throws the bodies behind the bin in the kitchen for Lucy to find the next day. In Lucy's dream, Daddy is shooting rabbits through the window in the kitchen. Not purple, he says. Still not purple. In Lucy's dream, there is a nasty smell like burned metal in hospitals. In Lucy's dream, television is leaking milk. Daddy is kicking it and throwing it around the room, trying to make it stop. There isn't any milk left, he snaps. We have to make do with what we have. In Lucy's dream, great holes thousands of miles wide open up all across the face of the earth and belch out white smog. Lucy's mummy is falling and falling and falling. In Lucy's dream, Lucy has fallen apart like a rag doll. Her limbs are in a big pile, and Daddy is sewing her back together again. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry, honey. I didn't mean it. This will make you feel better. Trust me, darling. Trust me. Lucy tries to tell him that his stitching is all wrong, that she wants the thread to be purple. But her mouth is just a line of sewn-on buttons, in the shape of a smile. In Lucy's dream, Lucy is running, but doesn't think that she's actually moving. There is nowhere to go, nowhere at all. In Lucy's dream, she has tried to go through the door to her bedroom, but instead it's opened into the basement where she isn't allowed to be. The room is full of redacted. They're cold and sharp, and make Lucy's head want to split open. Daddy is shouting at her to leave. Lucy tries to escape, but the stairs grow longer and longer and longer until she can't see the top. In Lucy's dream, Mummy's arm has been torn in half, right where Daddy ripped Lucy's picture. Lucy is screaming, trying to let go, but the bleeding stump of a hand is holding onto hers, like a vice. Lucy says that she's sorry over and over and over. In Lucy's dream, the dead body on the kitchen floor wakes up. It drags itself slowly up the stairs and knocks on her bedroom door. Are you Lucy, it asks? Are you Lucy Carmichael? The handle turns. Mariah Jones, director, Riza. Let's see. I had the thought at the very beginning, but I still think it more now. Daddy may be the cause and the only villain of this story. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that Mr. Buttons is not the monster here. We are almost at the end. This interview log very well might be the last. If I had to take a guess, we might have another interview log, and then maybe like another dream sequence to read through. Begin log. Lucy wakes up. There is an unfamiliar pressure on her bed. Daddy is sitting there. His body is pressing down on the lower half of her right leg. You still awake, honey? Daddy's eyes are bloodshot. He smells nasty and acrid. I'd do anything for you, you know that? You know that, Lucy? For you. For both of you. Lucy tries to gently pull her leg free. It doesn't move. Daddy doesn't seem to notice. You don't have to worry about it, okay? Okay, Lucy? You don't have to worry about it. About anything at all. I can keep it going just like this. Long as we need. Long as we need. You and me, Lulu, forever. Long as we need. His voice is slurred. Lucy's leg is trapped fast. You're gonna be okay, Lucy. You'll be okay. I love you, you know? I love you so much. You love me, Lucy? Lucy is holding the bedsheets over her mouth. She lowers them slowly. You're on my foot. Daddy stands up unsteadily. Ah, crap. Sorry, honey. Sorry, Lulu. Lucy, 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 Lucy. He stumbles slightly as he moves towards the door. I'm going back. I'm doing it for you, Lucy. All for you. You'll understand. You're such a smart girl. Daddy's so proud of you, honey. Daddy treads on one of Lucy's shoes as he leaves, one with purple rabbits. He staggers backwards, almost tripping, then kicks it out of his way. It vanishes under the bed. Lucy doesn't say anything. Oh, Lucy in a snow globe with butterflies. Purple wings. Alright. Begin log. Today, Lucy just wears socks. Lucy pulls open her curtains, because that is what you do in the morning, even if there isn't any point. The outside is still blank. The world looks like a whiteboard from school, one of the old ones that's had years and years of pen marks not quite erased from it. Lucy exits her room, walks down the stairs, and turns left into the kitchen. Daddy is already there. He is sitting at the table. He's wearing the same shirt as he wore yesterday, with the same stains. His plate has crumbs on it. The apple is set with butter and jam, and marmalade, and cereal and coffee and apple juice. There are cans and glass bottles in the sink. There is no milk. Morning, honey. Lucy's lip has healed, but it still feels rough and swollen in her mouth. She sits at the table. You sleep okay, sweetie? Lucy's cheek is still sore. She twists the flap of the tablecloth between her fingers. Got some big plans for us today, big plans. Daddy is getting up as he speaks. He feeds bread into the toaster. He has not looked Lucy in the eye. You know what our problem is? We haven't been doing enough together. I've been stuck downstairs so much, and you've been glued to that TV, and, well, maybe all of this is just the spur we needed. I've got this whole house to have fun in, and I've got you, and you've got me. That's all we really need, right? Lucy waits silently, but it becomes clear that an answer is expected. She looks at the tablecloth and nods her head. A small twitch of emotion passes over Daddy's face. Look, Lucy. There is a knock at the front door. It's a loud, forceful, rapid knock, like the kind that the police make in television shows. Thump, thump, thump. There is perfect stillness. Daddy's lips become pressed and thin. Lucy turns around in her chair. Lucy, go to your room for me, okay? Lucy wants to see if the shadow is still on the lawn. Right now. But the knock repeats itself. Thump, thump, thump. Lucy, whatever it is, I'll take care of it. Just go to your room for me, please. Lucy slides her chair back. She leaves the kitchen. She climbs the stairs. Daddy is making his way to the basement, his feet hammering on the bare wood steps. Lucy hesitates. A part of her wants to hang her head down through the banister and see whatever is going to happen. I think that's a typo. But she thinks better of it. What if it is Mr. Buttons? What if Daddy sees her? Lucy enters her bedroom and climbs back onto her bed. There is a third knock. It is slower and quieter, and it comes from Lucy's window. Lucy? Lucy Carmichael? There is a shape in the mist outside. A hazy blotch of darkness. Lucy pulls the bedsheets up over her like a hooded cloak. Go away! There is a brief pause. Hey Lucy, do you think you could open the window for me so we can talk a little bit? It's really important. The voice is feminine. It sounds gentle and precise, and reminds Lucy of some of her teachers at school. It does not sound like Mr. Buttons at all. I'm afraid we don't have a lot of time, Lucy. Could I come in, just for a moment? The bright white outline of an object appears on Lucy's window panes. It looks like a hand. It has 5 fingers. But monsters live in the mist. And monsters can look like people. Why are you outside? There is another pause. Well, I've been looking for you, Lucy. Which is not quite an answer to the question Lucy asked. Lucy decides to ignore this. How come? I'm part of a group of people whose job it is to take care of people who need it. And right now, my job is to look after you. This, of course, is something that a monster could easily say. Like a policeman? A little bit like that. Do you have a badge? The voice hesitates for a moment. I sure do. Do you want to see? If you open the window, I can show it to you. Lucy thinks about this. Lucy's school had an assembly about policemen. It was apparently very important to do what they said. There's a loud bang from downstairs. Lucy draws the bedsheets tighter around herself. Her cheek throbs. Daddy says I'm not allowed to open any of the windows. There is a third, even longer silence. When the voice begins to speak again, it is lower and even softer. Lucy, I know things are probably really confusing at this moment. You've gone through so much, and you have been so brave. I wish I didn't have to make things more difficult, but you need to trust me. Your father, he isn't a safe person to be around right now. He's done something very bad. Lucy feels a knot of guilt clench in her stomach. He killed someone. The voice sounds sad. Yeah, he did. Were they your friend? The voice lets out the very first syllable of a laugh, followed by a sniff. Yeah, I think so. We worked together. He was a part of my team. The group I told you about. The bread and the butterflies. His name was Matthew. He wanted to look after you too. Lucy's guilt tightens. Her stomach aches. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hey, it's not your fault. You have nothing to be sorry about, okay? You didn't do anything. It was his choice to come here the way he did. Matthew used to know your father pretty well. He thought they could talk things out. Lucy fiddles with the clasps at the end of her duvet cover, snapping them open and snapping them closed again. What's your name? Harmony. That's a nice name. Thank you. I gave it to myself. Lucy looks at the handle on the window. It has a keyhole, but the lock doesn't work. There's another loud bang from downstairs. Lucy, I'm so sorry, but we don't have very long. Can you open the window for me, please? Lucy chews at her lower lip. I need to ask Daddy. Lucy, your father has been lying to you. I'm sorry, I know it hurts to hear that. Your father was very worried about not getting to see you as much. So he did something very silly and very selfish, and he hid you away where none of the people who loved you or cared about you could find you. Where your mother couldn't find you. Lucy's eyes widen. You know Mummy? Sort of. I've spoken to her about you. She misses you very, very much, Lucy. Would you like to go see her? Lucy trembles. Yes, please. I can take you to her, but I need you to trust me and open the window right now, okay? There are footsteps coming up the stairs. Lucy's arm reaches out from the bundle of bed sheets. She fumbles with the handle. It turns. The window swings open. The mist licks at the space where the window pane had been, but does not come in. Lucy? Daddy has reached the doorway of Lucy's room. He stares at the opening, at Lucy, at the pale shadow outside. His face twists. Get the heck away from her! Get away from my daughter! Daddy is running towards her, but not fast enough. It's as if he's moving in slow motion. A hand slips under the bed sheets and takes hold of Lucy's. It is as white as bone, as white as grease paint. It gives her a squeeze like an iron vice and pulls her out of the sheets, out of the window, out of the house. There is a scream, long and horrible and full of anguish. It fades into the mist. And that's it. That is the end. That was SCP-8607. Yeah, that's it. So, out of curiosity, Anthology 2024. Interesting. So it would appear... Oh! Pistanthrophobia. Phobia. According to Mr. AI, the irrational fear of trusting others, often stemming from past trauma like betrayal or a hurtful breakup. Interesting. So, let's see here. Oh, okay, there it is. Mr. or Miss, or whatever the gender neutral of Mr. or Miss is, Uncanyon? Bravo. Bravo. Let me go ahead and add that to my little citation page here. So... For one, I really like this. This is a great image to end on. I love that. God, I need to process. That was... Dang, it's probably because it's like almost midnight, but I am kind of at a loss for words here. Oh. That was really interesting. That was really good. I love the fact that it's like written from Lucy's perspective. Like, I feel like that really adds to it. Like, going with the theme of like fear of trusting others, like you could have gone from the perspective of somebody with that fear, you know? And showed a deep dive into paranoia. But the fact that you're like going... The fact that you chose to do it from the perspective of somebody being affected by somebody with that fear. That's really interesting. I bet that was way harder to pull off. Hold on, it was... Here. This part. There is a knock at the front door. That simple line hit really hard after, like, everything. And what's funny to me is if that line had been included, like, way earlier in the story, it would have been terrifying. But here, it's tense for a completely different reason. Like, earlier in the story, I would have thought Lucy is in danger, but here, you don't know what is about to happen. So another thing, from like having it be from Lucy's perspective, I love the fact that you have to like piece together like what is happening from like based on the POV of this little girl who doesn't quite understand like what is going on. Oh. Honestly, I am... Sweet. So there is a citation for this little anthology series. I am going to go ahead and add that as well, because honestly, after reading that, I am very, very curious about some of these other phobias. I feel like there's got to be some really, really interesting stuff in here. Stuff that I, you know, am not going to freaking read tonight. Holy crap. I did not think I would be streaming for this long. Like, it is an hour over when I said I was going to, like, end stream, almost. Whew. So, it is, like, 10 minutes till midnight. I'm really tired. I've been talking for a long time. I'm going to lay in bed, and I don't know. I'm probably gonna lay in bed and think about all of that, because, like, wow. So tomorrow night, I might start around the same time I started today. I might start a little bit earlier, but I plan on playing SCP Containment Breach. I am going to be uploading this VOD to YouTube. I wasn't sure how this was gonna go, to be completely honest with you, but I enjoyed this a lot, honestly. This was a lot of fun going through and like reading these stories. There was some cool stuff in here. I really liked. Let me pull up the list. I really liked 3935. Honestly, I think 3935 was probably my personal favorite, just because of all the craziness and the eeriness going on around it. This is definitely a close second, though, because of just how interesting it all was to read. Let me see. What was I... Yeah, so I'm going to be uploading the VOD to YouTube. It'll probably end up getting uploaded by, like, tomorrow, given how long it's probably going to take. I am going to include the links to all of the SCP articles that I read in the description. I'm going to double check, because there were a few that didn't have, like, citations. And I'm gonna see if, like, maybe they did and I just, like, overlooked them. Because I want to give credit to all the creators who made all these, because these were all pretty amazing. So yeah, SCP Containment Breach tomorrow. I'm trying to remember what my schedule is for next week to see when it is I'm going to be streaming. There might... No, Yeah, I think I can stream on Friday. I think I can make time to stream on Friday. I don't know what I'm gonna stream yet. I probably won't know until, like, the day before. But, yeah, keep an eye out for tomorrow and for Friday. I hope you guys all had fun. I know I certainly had a lot of fun reading this. I would like to do this again sometime. Probably not sometime soon, because wow, this kind of took a lot out of me. But like this was like really good. It was fun getting to like read these like stories, and like share them with you guys. And even though there was like only one person here in chat who like gave me any feedback, I'm hoping you guys had as much fun as I did. Maybe next time I will get it so that you can actually read the chat, because like about halfway through I suddenly realized that, you know, white text on a white background isn't really the best. But yeah, so is there... Hold on. Is there any, like... Okay, hello there. Ugh. There are a few people that I watch that are streaming, but nobody that I think I would want to send you to. I don't know. I'm kind of just like stalling for time here because I'm really tired and a little loopy. And I'm still kind of reeling from that last one. Cause, oh boy. Yeah, so, uploading it to YouTube very shortly. You can check it out if you missed any of the, like, earlier ones that I read. Go through. Alright, I gotta stream. I'm just stalling for time at this point. Jeez, I am just so freaking... End stream. Good night, everybody. I hope you all had fun. I hope you were all spooked, or intrigued, or interested, by the stories going on here. I will hopefully see you all tomorrow. Yeah, I don't think I got anything else. So, good night. Goodbye. Good night. Good night.